High school sports are as American as apple pie. And going to a game or meet is a chance to see the stars of tomorrow shine today. But as anybody who's ever attended a high school sporting event in Wisconsin knows, you can't have the stars without the stripes. High schools are currently looking for new officials in almost every sport. Who looks good in stripes? Anybody looking for a way to stay connected to a sport they love. If you like the idea of giving back to your community while earning a few extra bucks, chances are you'd look good in stripes too. We want to hear from you. We need to hear from you. No officials means no games. No stripes means no stars. And what kind of America would that be? Wisconsin needs more high school officials. Go to highschoolofficials.com to sign up or learn more. That's highschoolofficials.com.
I'm Scott Dolphin. The A's hit 3 more home runs, and they come from behind to beat the Brewers 4-3 in Las Vegas. The Athletics hit 15 home runs in this 3-game series. They take 2 out of 3. Gary Sanchez and Jackson Churio homered for the Crew. Brandon Sproat pitched pretty well. He gave up just 1 run in 6 innings. Chad Patrick, though, gives up 3 earned runs, takes the loss. Milwaukee went 4-2 on the road trip. Today's a day off. They'll open a 6-game homestand tomorrow night at American Family Field against the Philadelphia Phillies. Packers tight end Tucker Kraft said Wednesday he feels great after suffering an ACL midway through last season. He expects to be ready for week 1 of the regular season this year. Kraft caught 32 balls for almost 500 yards and 6 touchdowns in 8 games before getting hurt last year. And the Knicks pulled off the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. They erased a 29-point deficit to shock the Spurs 107-106. Tonight's Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. The Golden Knights and Hurricanes are tied at 2-2. And the World Cup starts today with Mexico taking on South Africa. Team USA plays tomorrow night in Los Angeles against Paraguay. The Huddle is next. I'm Scott Dolphin from Fox Sports.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake up! Everybody wake
with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with a number of cameras.
Take the cameras off the field, and there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on 1. Ready, Biller for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 get. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red right 18 Bob on 1. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We know exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all the ball got to do. Let's go out and kick some tail. All right? 1, 2, 3.
Keep doing what you're doing. Sit our guys after and make the play. Be right, all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, D-hand, C-puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid.
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
And Armen Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Let's huddle up, Wisconsin. Welcome in to the 5 o'clock club. Drew Olson, Bill Schmid, Armen Sarian bringing it to you from headquarters, broadcasting live on 920 in Milwaukee, 1070 Madison, everywhere on the iHeart app. Streaming live for you early risers, insomniacs, and sociopaths on Facebook, X, and YouTube. The 5 o'clock club, day 2, already getting people checking in on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. I'm Drew. Billy's here. Armen's here as well. And boys, we got plenty to get to today in this 5 o'clock club of ours.
The club goes up right away, and Drew, there's certain times where the club needs a little boost, it needs a little jolt. Might need a Vegas bomb, might need a vodka Red Bull. Today, need a lot of that if you ended up staying through for what ended up being the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history last night, because it's going to need a highly caffeinated morning in this club, or a lot of energy from the 5 o'clock clubbers, which I believe they're going to be fist pumping away and getting us going.
Last night,
oh my goodness,
was our reminder of why we watch sports.
That's it right there, Drew. Yep.
Drew, it's like that comeback and collapse, because it's two-sided. Mm-hmm. The coin is two-sided. It's the greatest comeback and the greatest collapse in NBA history, sports history, because I was watching it when the Spurs are dominating the first half, I'm thinking to myself, they got a chance to be the Bucks, but in reverse, losing the first 2 at home and running the table.
And
it's gonna happen, because if it goes to 2-2 back to San Antonio, and then all of a sudden they're gonna win Game 5, and it's like this, and then it's like lights out. And lo and behold, the Knicks rose from the dead.
Lo and behold, Drew, the worst collapse, the Spurs said, hold my beer, because there were folks in section 200 of Madison Square Garden last night that were wondering, are we about to blow the biggest, are we about to have the worst collapse in finals history? Are we about to top whatever Draymond and those Warriors did against LeBron a number of years ago? Because 3-1 that had never happened before, but this one to win the first 2 games on the road, and then potentially blow the series, and 2 games later, you're back to even Steven. That's a tough one to swallow. And crazy to think the team that set records for the most threes and the best 3-point shooting percentage, most points in a first half in finals history, found a way to blow it late. And the Knicks ended up shooting a better percentage from 3 than the Spurs did. They outshot them. And more than anything, the Spurs, just as Charles Barkley said, which makes him once again the reigning, defending, undisputed best commentator in all of sports. That was the dumbest basketball I've ever seen in my entire life. And Draymond can't stop but laughing. He's like, that was the dumbest half of basketball you may have ever seen. They're up 25, Drew, and they proceed to take 8 consecutive threes. Playing it like they're at the Klotchke Center, running some 5s on Sunday in the second half of the NBA Finals, and they almost were able to snatch it back. Steph Castle knocked down a pair of clutch free throws, but man, Wemby stepped up to the line. He was shaking in his boots. They're showing it here. De'Aaron Fox has, for a guy that was a former clutch player of the year,
apparently
one of the most inexplicable decisions of all time. There's under 10 seconds to go. You can run it into the corner. They still had a foul to give at that time. So you chew off another 4 seconds. There's no way that Brunson's able to get the shot off, and OG Anunoby streaking down the field like a wide receiver split in cover 2 and right across the safeties, goes in with 1.2, tips it back in. Drew, there's the had me on the edge of my seat moment. That final possession, I legitimately had I looked like a 13-year-old kid watching a Christmas movie on December 24th. I had the blanket over my arms. I'm sitting up on the edge of my bed, and I'm literally rocking back and forth, not knowing what I'm watching. It was incredible last night to be able to see that 29 back were the Knicks, and now all of a sudden they're 3-1 away, and they're a win away from their first title in 53 years. And Madison Square Garden sounded like it last night after the game.
I think they're still in there. It's like I think the A's are still hitting home runs against the Brewers, and fans are still in Madison Square Garden going nuts.
Why leave? I mean, that's one you want to soak in forever. You don't want that moment to end. You want to push the sun back from coming up, because it's like, in my youth, or even today, I still do this. Let's be honest. I always think about, like, during games when you're down big, and I always remember the specific moments. There's specific games when there are big enough comebacks to say, okay, I'm going to keep hope. And this is just another one in the ledger when I think to myself, all right, no lead is safe. Well, I remember that 29-point lead the Spurs had in Game 4. We'll remember that forever. A catastrophic collapse, and then a historic comeback for the ages. Whatever way you look at it, there's nothing to replace it. And it's like, you think about how great sports is, and you said it, Drew, off the top, and it's just not a better way to encapsulate the way it feels, because you think about what it means and just the reality of what it means for this series, for basketball history. The Knicks now have a commanding lead. They'll probably win. This is a comeback that this stink will stick with Wemby for a while, because obviously he's the lightning rod for that team, or the player for that team. But it's just the way sports can move us to places that nothing else can do. Because I see an arena full of fans, a lot of them rich, famous, that a lot of things can't affect them. Like seeing a brand new Ferrari won't affect a lot of these famous celebrities, or like a private yacht in Ibiza, or some of the craziest things that us lay people will never experience.
Shout out to Ibiza.
Yeah, just random. But those things won't affect them. The wildest things, being around the craziest celebs. But a game like that moved them like nothing else could, like nothing money could buy. That's what sports does for us. That's what sports means for us in society. And that's just the power that it has. So when you see Jerry Seinfeld's jaw drop and Taylor Swift jumping around like she's 10 years old, it's just amazing to see the power sports has.
Oh.
And we saw it on display in the grandest stage in the cathedral and the MSG.
And it was
incredible.
And it was tough when Taylor Swift is doing the happy dance with the two young ladies who are singer-songwriters who are very much famous as well.
Very famous and talented. Laura told me about them. I didn't know who they were, but she was telling me.
Okay, good.
Them.
I'm glad somebody did.
I'm
glad somebody knew who they were,
Yeah.
but good for them. Like good pop to your social media when you get to go pull up courtside, sit right next to the broadcast
Not
crew
bad.
with your girl Taylor. Drew, she was doing the happy dance when they were down 22. I think they cut it to 22. And all of a sudden I thought this is going to be the picture right next to Chris Paul hits huge 3 to cut the lead to 35. It felt like it was a great moment in time of, wow, okay, they can celebrate and enjoy this one now. But the Spurs just continued to let them in the game, and make an inexplicable mistake after inexplicable mistake. Veteran team against a young one. You guys have both been there. I've never been to MSG. And Kenny said it this way, Drew, of the folks that were hanging out there the whole time. He goes, this is a stadium that you can't wait to beat the traffic out of. This is a stadium that you can't wait to get up out of there because you are racing to the subway, racing to get out of there. And I don't know that anybody was trying to leave last night.
Not in this case, no. Absolutely epic. What a moment. And I mean, yeah, you wonder, okay, a lot of ball game left, right? They still got to win the last one.
Yep.
The toughest one to win is the one to
one.
clinch. But you do get the vibes like we got. Like, how do you come back from that?
I don't know. I would.
Didn't we say that about the Cavs too?
We said that about the Cavs for sure.
How do you come back from that?
And we all thought the Cavs were headed towards massive changes. Now they're going to run that thing back and find the same result coming up next year. But like the Spurs are young, they'll definitely grow. They'll learn things. But there's leads like 16-0 up in the NFC Championship game on the road that you sit back and think of, and you don't know how that group gets back. Now, this one's too young, I think, to not have that moment. However, there's one piece that won't be back, right? Like, I don't know how De'Aaron Fox is a member of the San Antonio Spurs last year. And I think there were a lot of folks that didn't think that was going to happen regardless of what the outcome was here. But there's a lot of times where someone's going to have to go. Someone's going to have to get up out of here after what we just witnessed. And they're not doing it to the coach because of where they went. And they're not doing it to certain star players. But Mr. Number 4, can we get that key card to the hotel hotel lobby on the way out? Because that's a tough one to come back from. Brandon Bostic didn't return in 2015. I can't imagine De'Aaron Fox is coming back after that one last night.
I don't think they care about his clutch player of the year trophy right now. The thing about De'Aaron Fox, too, is he's not really – he was like the veteran of that young group. So they're not going to break up the core if they let him go, obviously. They can let you can kind of move off that. Yeah, a bad look. Well, a bad moment for him, but it was actually a group of bad moments, I would say, down the stretch. And Wemby didn't really play all that great down the stretch. He did hit a shot, I think, to put him up 7, right? But other than that, he missed 9 of 10 at one point, and then the free throws you talked about, Billy. You have to do a lot wrong when you collapse like that from a lead like that, but you also have to do a lot right on the other side, and you have to have a little bit of luck. I know Mike Brown talked about that, and the tip in definitely, it worked out. He was flying in at the right time, but you also have to have performances. OG Anunoby, that was a role player performance for the ages. That's going to be one of legends that people talk about. Even Jose Alvarado had some big moments in the fourth quarter.
Huge.
That was
Massive.
huge. That's something he'll take with him forever. I mean, if nothing else happens in his career, he'll be able to talk about that one night at the Garden. I helped and we'll tell you,
NBA champion, yeah.
And he's a New Yorker too, right? If I'm not mistaken. So that's got to be a big deal. But I don't know. It's just certain things happen in sports that you can't explain, and that was one of them. And that's what makes it great. And as much as we thought, like, oh, this one's over, it's 29 points. A 29-point comeback in the NBA Finals. I remember in 2008, there was a big comeback in that Lakers Celtics series. It doesn't quite meet this one, though, in terms of total points. There's been some great ones, but in a place like that, in a situation like this, with a team like that, and a media market like that, and an audience and a group of media that want to see the Knicks do this, you just can't script it any better than that. The first home team to win a game in this series, too, guys. Incredible.
24-point difference in Game 4, Boston against Los Angeles in 2008. Boston erased that one in the second quarter, won the game by 6, eventually securing the championship in 6 games. The Rockets, down 20 in the first half, came back and won in overtime against the Magic in 95. I know you're stunned.
Nick Anderson game, I think.
Both of those two teams winning the title. I would be floored if somehow San Antonio is able to come back off the mat. You're just you're not able to come back from those kinds of games. And Drew, the Alvarado one that Armen brought up, it almost felt like that was bigger because it allowed Brunson to not have to bring the ball up against 94 feet of pressure all night long.
Huge.
And give him some more legs late into the game. That's a tough one because it's like when you're down big in baseball, you can't step up into the batter's box trying to hit a 7-run home run. Last I checked, it didn't invent those. Just like this, there's no 21-point shot that's going to slice the lead, but you make a 5 to 7 point run and all right, they come back, hit a 3, go back, get 5 or 7. Jalen Brunson talked about it after the game. The way that they just kept chipping away, it sounds mundane, it sounds cliche, but it's the only way you're able to get one of those things done, right?
One of the things I dislike most, and there's a lot about the current sports culture, is the recency bias and everything that happens now is the greatest ever. And like but for a team with a rich history, yet not exactly a history of success, if and when the Knicks do take the Larry O'Brien trophy, there's a strong case to be made that Jalen Brunson is Mr. Nick above all the others.
Oh, Drew.
All the greats.
Well, he's gonna be there.
Clyde, like all the greats, like all the great players they had, the guys that never won. And I'm not a ring guy, and I'm not going to say that, well, he's already had a bigger impact than like Patrick Ewing or something like that. But I mean, look at the way they celebrate John Starks. Jalen Brunson's 100 times the player John Starks was.
Not even close. Yeah.
It's like you can't, and
especially if it go over 14 in Game 7.
I mean, I remember reading about those Knicks teams, like the 70s Knicks teams with Bill Bradley and Dave DeBusschere and
Willis Reed and all those guys.
Reed, Jerry Lucas,
Bernard King,
yeah, and Bernard King came later, but
that's true.
But he was, but I mean, but they're revered and celebrated. But what Brunson's doing and has done puts him ahead of all. It's like, make a case for me that somebody on the Knicks is better and more impactful than Jalen Brunson.
You can't.
And it's not. And again, I hate the recency bias and the rush to judgment, but he's there. He's it.
1,000%. Drew, he already right now is the most famous New York athlete for like a subsection of the fan base, right? If you're under the age of 25, so Eli Manning is probably pretty cool. You probably really, really enjoyed him. Maybe there's a little bit of taste for Aaron Judge. Not in the playoffs. Yeah,
like he's not winning championships.
Winning championships. Like he is the most famous New York athlete if you're probably under the age of 25. And I think I'm with you. I hate we got to crown this as the greatest thing ever. Tell me a better free agent signing than Jalen Brunson.
Especially when you consider the price.
In the history of the league, from a team that was toiling in mediocrity and a laughing stock to where their loudest fan in the world was just gobsmacked when they started clearing cap space, and Stephen A is on ESPN saying, "This is Jalen Brunson. Who are we thinking this is?" And all of a sudden, 3 years later, he's the clutchest player in the world. He's the best fourth quarter player in the league, and they win one more game. These are always the most subjective conversations ever, and we leave them to the DPs and the cowherds that come up right after us.
That's why we love it.
Hard to say he wouldn't be like the face of the league, right? Like Wemby is coming in, and worldwide he'll be the one you think of. Obviously, there's still LeBron and Steph hanging out there, but Jalen Brunson is the father-in-law's favorite player. Plays off 2 feet.
That's good.
Gritty, small, undersized, doubted, second-round pick, doesn't talk, well-spoken. He's the guy that if you're now going to be having an 11-year-old and you're watching a basketball game, you say, you want to be modeling yourself after this guy right here.
Married to his high school sweetheart.
People
like that stuff.
Great drop right there.
People like that stuff. You know, and I think you have a point because it was supposed to be Wemby if they won the series. Like everyone was ready to say Wemby's the face of the league because they beat Oklahoma City, which was presumed to be the favorite. SGA is a star MVP that nobody really wants to make their star in the NBA. We would decide. I guess the NBA's decided that. Like the NBA media machine is like, we don't want to deal with SGA anymore. He flops too much, and we don't want to make him the face. So it was like, all right, Wemby's ready now to be the face. And he was like, a funny thing happened on the way to legendary status. A funny thing happened on the way to the podium, and it was you're right, Billy. Jalen Brunson, the New York Knicks. That's a great point. Jalen Brunson's that guy. I mean, if the Knicks win the title, he's the guy of the Knicks. I mean, obviously there's Anthony Towns and all these other guys, but yeah, I think that's a good point. And in a lot of ways, to your point, Drew, it kind of resolves the unrequited, like dreams that the Ewings and the Starks never reached, and those guys can be honored again. It's sort of like when the Red Sox finally won, they brought back Buckner, and when the Cubs finally won, they brought back all these guys that didn't get it done. It's almost better for the legacy of the Ewings of the world for these guys to win, because then it's like, all right, you guys got your Knicks title that you can never, quite get. I think some people look at it that way too, but yeah, it's definitely Jalen Brunson at that point. How can you argue it? They just have to win one more. I mean, and it seems like there's no way back from a loss like that. Now we're saying the craziest things happen in sports, but
we've also seen now something else. The Knicks have had 3 chances to close out series. In the closeout game against the Atlanta Hawks, they won a resounding 140-89 on the road.
Yeah.
They went to Philadelphia and won 144-114. And then they went to Cleveland to clinch 130-93. So the craziest thing in sports would be this game being close coming up, because when they've had a chance, Drew, to advance and finish somebody off, they haven't just put the throat on the dying dog. They hit a Hulk Hogan leg drop on it. Then they went and threw it into a dumpster and then lit that dumpster on fire. I mean, like they have been as ruthless and as brutal as you could be in a moment like this. And how many, I almost tweeted out last night, but I didn't want people to know if I was, too bleary eyed and lacking of sleep late.
That's okay, Billy.
What do we think? Because when there's one of these moments, there are probably a lot of young Bretts running around in 1997, right?
Yeah.
9 or 10 months after that game in January, there were probably a few more Reggies in the state than you would have thought. Even somebody got a little bit aggressive, and they're like, you know what? Roy Lee. Get a Leroy baby in here. I don't know. Many are gonna go with an OG baby, because that might be a tough one to line up. But I got to think there's going to be a lot in the New York, New Jersey area, Drew, with the name Jalen once again, because it's one of the hottest names in the baby book. And there's a lot that are going to be wanting to throw that one in again.
Well, I'd love to see Carl make a comeback, Oh,
that could be. It could be a Carl with a K.
Yeah.
Maybe Alvarado's after last night. I'm telling you,
how many Desmonds were born? We should have more Desmonds.
Could have been a few Desmonds. Maybe Marks after Mark Breyer. Come on now. That pick that he
Mark
had.
Pryor had a great pick.
A great pick, number 39 in that game.
Tough hairline, but great pick. We love you, Mark. Or is it Mike Pryor? I can't remember.
You mentioned
Mike Pryor. I don't know.
Another backhanded slap at the scouting complex. Like you see this in the NFL a lot, NBA as well. Like you always do these redrafts.
Oh God,
5 or 6 years after a draft, you redraft.
Oh, this is fun.
People love this stuff.
The Knicks in 2018, the class that produced Brunson and SGA, the Knicks took Kevin Knox II from Kentucky.
Well, I'm sure he's doing a hell of a job.
A one and done at Kentucky.
Somewhere.
They took him 9th. SGA was taken 11th.
Oh, God.
And then they didn't have a chance to get Brunson because Brunson went 2 picks ahead of when they took Mitchell Robinson.
Okay, well, you know what? Mitchell Robinson had a nice flagrant foul last night.
But that kind of changed. I don't know if it changed momentum, but it was. Well,
something. I mean, I would say Wu-Tang Clan maybe changed momentum.
I think Wu-Tang Clan is the unwritten.
I gotta play Wu-Tang. Yeah,
unsung hero of the entire night.
How do they play in such a silent MSG? I don't think I've ever heard that building as quiet as they possibly
And then
were.
Close it up by saying Knicks in 5. Like 5. Method Man and Ghostface were all over it.
And they came out to Annie Up by MOP, which was also a New York banger. That was game 3 though. Maybe did they come out to that?
I think
there's just too many to pick from. I'm playing Biggie now, but
yeah.
Hey, by the way, Kevin Knox is playing for the Windy City Bulls in the G League, Billy. So,
all right.
Oh,
wow, he's still getting a check. Okay,
still getting a check. That's amazing. Hey, you're in the 5 o'clock club. We're hanging out here. We hope everybody made it through the weather yesterday. I know our friends up in Theresa, Lomira, Horicon had a rough go of it. Another round today. It's getting a little bit old. Having people, storm damage and stuff and the lack of power. In fact, our Hunter Baumgart's suffering from a power outage. Might not be able to join us today, but we don't need to talk about the Brewers loss. They're in an off day.
No,
We'll muddle through. We'll get to that eventually. But we're glad you're hanging out with us as we have a game for the ages to talk about and some developments with the Green Bay Packers to discuss. So stay tuned. We're glad you're with us in the 5 o'clock club. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
And you said it, 2 kids from here, right? You know, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I was about to cry, not because obviously we just want more, but I'm in Madison Square Garden in the fourth quarter playing with these guys, and we playing for something special. It's just as excited. It really something I couldn't put in words. And like I said, we could get excited and enjoy this, but we got one more to do for sure. You know? So that's the main goal.
Jose Alvarado, the Knicks, bringing us back after the unbelievable, unfathomable 29-point comeback last night at Madison Square Garden.
And as a Brooklyn guy, that does have to be like a pinch me moment. I'm playing in the NBA Finals in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Also, he's like, wait a second, I'm on the floor. Oh, sweet.
Good point,
Okay,
yeah.
Coach, let's go. Let's go, Coach. I mean, I don't know anybody necessarily thought the Jose Alvarado button was the one that would push to help propel him. Not OG Anunoby was the biggest part of it, and De'Aaron Fox forgetting how to play basketball in the final minutes, but. Alvarado, Drew, just giving them a little bit of reprieve off of Brunson having to take the ball up the entire time. Felt like it freshened Brunson up. He had maybe his best statistical shooting performance of the series, 12 for 25. The first time he's come close to 50%, and it felt like he had maybe a little bit more legs and some longer spurts of being as effective into the fourth quarter, and then took it over. But man, once that thing got down to 15, you can almost feel like, okay, there's going to be something special here. It feels like this place is up for grabs and up for something special. And you know, when you have so many celebrities throughout, the celebrity row sheet was like 3 pages long last night. I saw somebody post it there. James Dolan, congratulations, you made up for it. You got yourself back. You got yourself back up off the mat. And the Knicks now are 1 win away from immortality. Or, I mean, there are going to be some fans walking out of that stadium saying, how on earth did we just Knicks all over ourselves and get blown out by the San Antonio Spurs? You knew there was going to be one blowout there in the middle of at halftime. My mother texted me, noted NBA fan, and just said, wow, this basketball game is awful. Just texted her after the game. I said, oh, it got better.
It got better, Mom.
It got better. It got a little better. I just got the correspondence. I fell asleep. Don't worry, just like a lot of folks did. But felt good for Mike Breen last night. I mean, he wanted to bang so hard.
Pause.
Dude, he was sitting there waiting to bang. And then he finally was able to unleash a couple of great ones there at 99, 95. And he had himself a beautiful, beautiful moment.
Was it on one of the OG threes, right? I mean, or I could be wrong. Maybe it was Jalen Brunson's, but he did have a couple.
He hit one off of the Brunson three as well, but he gave one on I think it was Anunoby's 3 in the corner that cut it to 4, and that was the first time. And I was sitting there like he was the kid in that meme where his face is just welling up, kind of like Armen when you talk about the Baseball Hall of Fame and some of the guys that he hates in there. Hey, how do you feel about Harold Baines, Armen?
Don't even
right. So like you get that face.
It's time for that stuff. Okay.
Drew, that was Mike Breenson right there at half court. I want to bang so hard. I want to drop this thing so bad. But he held off. And then it hit totally different. That was chef's kiss last night to that broadcast booth.
It was, you're right. Mike Breen, what a moment for him. It's just
lifelong Knicks fan getting to call it and
I'm glad for him.
Having to be down the middle. But in the back, when he came back at the end of halftime, Drew, you could tell the despair in his voice. Like, well,
going down back
Knicks have played the worst half of basketball I've seen all year.
Yeah, and it was looking bleak for them. I mean,
but you know what? I think he'd have done that even if it was, Cleveland.
Whoever it was, because it was so bad.
Yeah, because those guys, their interest is like they feel like a bad game is like they can just hear the TVs, the channels clicking,
turning off,
100%. It's like that's not what they want.
And like when you see a 29-point difference, it's like, wow, okay, we got all this studying, this beautiful area, and this is the dud of the game that we're putting out here. Awesome, thanks, guys. There was some frustration, no doubt.
And of all the guys that in the media, New York and all this, that will make it about them, he's the one that
one
that doesn't. Like that's what's great about Mike Breen. Of course, Stephen A. Smith's going to be in there, and everyone's going to have their take today, and everyone's going to have their moment on their camera, whatever it is. He's the one guy that doesn't. I remember saying to myself, when I heard him talk about I've watched, how many times have we watched the 21 final stuff? Like I've watched it so many times, so I know all the Breen calls. I feel like because we've watched over and over, and it just felt the same. And I'm like, wow, he's that good, he's that impressive, and he's calling it right here in the Garden for this team. Unbelievable. Shout out to the Kolek Marquette jersey behind the Knicks bench. Probably his dad. I know. I was like, who is that? Yeah, probably one of his parents.
Maybe a side piece.
That was good to see, but it was not the okay, pause. I don't know. It was not the design that he played in, but hey, that's fine. Right by Taylor Swift on the bench there and her friends. Drew, did you see the creative Taylor Swift shirt? I was very impressed by her. She wore the Stevie Nicks t-shirt.
I just saw the blue shirts that
Yes.
she and the Haim girls were wearing. Right?
So I saw the clips, right?
Mhm.
You know,
I'm
like,
stunned.
Taylor,
I'm stunned.
you're
You and the
stunned that
family
I
were
did.
finding all the clips.
And I'm like, did you guys see what she's wearing? Because it looks like a Knicks shirt, but obviously she's a female artist, vocalist. She wore a Stevie Nicks t-shirt. I thought that was super creative.
The other ones were almost better. I definitely should have known the Haim girls.
Yeah, I didn't
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Haim, yeah.
Haim girls. I gotta check their stuff out.
Okay.
One had a Nickelback right there in
I
the
like
same
that.
one, and the
Yeah.
other one was, I think, Nicole Kidman. So they found
That's
different
great.
ways to be able to spice it up. Real MVP last night, though, Milwaukee's own Ernie Johnson stealing the show.
That was awesome.
When they have completely ESPN'd that halftime show, Drew, when they come back for 13 seconds, but they got to show Ernie Johnson getting the picture with Taylor Swift and becoming, as he said, the number one grandpa in the entire world.
He's just
world.
He's just got that vibe to him where it's like, oh, he's going to be the best guy to have there because it's like, oh, we get to sit next to Ernie, like, you know, non-threatening grandpa vibe. Obviously a well-known celebrity in the NBA world, but like super the friendliest, you know, down-to-earth guy forever.
They get up there and they come back and Charles goes, mission accomplished. We got it. We got it. Oh, my goodness.
So we're several weeks away. In fact, Armen's been reliving it, but July 20th will be the anniversary of the Bucks title victory.
5 years.
You forget how late that's the thing that messes me up. That it's
COVID,
been 5
and
years.
it's so late, but
so late in the summer.
Does that not seem like 15, 20 years ago right now? It does to me.
It'll feel even longer if
So much has happened since then, and it's
That's
like,
true.
It's
COVID,
that's
'cause of
life in
COVID.
general, but
Yeah.
that 5-year window seems like a million years ago.
Which is funny, Drew, because it also felt like everything took that time almost stood still for like the year and a half before it, right? Like, because you were still coming out of COVID, and you think of that being 6 years ago. That feels like to me a generation ago,
a lifetime,
right?
yeah.
Like for how long it goes.
At the time that we didn't leave the house for like a year.
Yeah, and like you were an adaptive species, so we move on pretty quickly, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second. Oh, that actually did happen where you had to putt on a golf course and you hit a pool noodle instead of getting it out. Now, frankly, I liked that better. I was a lot better at COVID golf than I am at real golf. Right. But there's like things that do lines of demarcation, and July 20th, the anniversary, it's going to feel even longer ago when on June 20th, potentially we get that news and that alert coming in from Asham Sharania of a potential trade, because there's been a lot of Bucks life that's happened after that.
There's been a lot of smoke there, a lot of talk, especially about the Heat, that they have the best offer, but it's not great. And then, Jim Ozarski, who's, the voice of reason for a lot of people, he's plugged in. He put out something last night just saying, well, I'm not counting John Horst out for pulling a third rabbit out of his hat.
And he's been consistent on that, sort of. He said that, yeah.
There was no smoke when they pulled off the Lillard trade. There was no smoke, no inkling that they were going to stretch and waive him. And there was no inkling that they were going to sign Miles Turner.
Mm-hmm.
John, he's the Dark Knight. He works in the shadows. He works in mysterious ways. Now, maybe something of this magnitude. I mean, the Bucks are buttoned up, but maybe something of this magnitude will leak from the other side if there's a trade that's getting close. But don't you think in the silence that there's still a chance? Like I've been, and I'm on the record, I think Giannis is going to be traded. I think he wants out. I think he's going to be accommodated, and the Bucks will move forward because it is likely the best thing for the organization. But I still am not 1,000, I'm not even 90% sure that it's going to happen, because like I said, John Horst could find something.
That's fun. Now, I think it's as close to done as, not like an individual trade, but like the relationship is as done as it can be. But I think the real silence to me, Drew, is this Miami stuff, it has Pat Riley and his influence all over it for the amount that seems to be the only spot. Tim Bontemps and company, Wendy on their podcast, they're like, well, I don't know if teams are going to want to outbid Miami. Why?
Yeah,
why? Because you don't want to anger Pat Riley. You don't want him to glare at you in his 83-year-old body. Like I just don't understand the reverence of, well, the Heat want him, so we can't get there. I think there's much better packages available, and Giannis is maybe going through the mathematics right now of them saying, hey, bud, remember how Drew just mentioned that real silence of the Damian Lillard trade? Well, we got 2 packages here that we like a lot more. And I got bad news for you. You're not going to South Beach. you're going to go to Portland. You are going to go to not a bad spot. Maybe the one that I definitely want him to go to if the package is indeed Paolo Banchero and Jalen Suggs. I don't care about any picks.
Yeah.
Send him to Orlando. Like this is, I mean, if they're going to give you the right package, he could go to Utah for all I care. Like there's moments where you're sitting there thinking of what they're going to get, where they're going to go. And I think there's a lot more suitors for Giannis than just the Miami Heat. But Armen's going to hate me on this one. I just can't see it being the Bucks again. I just can't see it being the Bucks again. With
I'm not giving up. That's
how much
you,
smoke there is and how far gone it feels.
I'm just not closing the door all the way just because of,
I like that. Keep it ajar, baby. Come on.
Horse works in mysterious ways, man.
And I feel like Giannis is, maybe you make the point that he wants out, but I think he's going to give the 2 options to the Bucks, and one of them is you have to start trading picks, and we have to really go all in again, type of thing. Like if you showed him, start, not the right term. You're right. They've already been doing it, but like I think Giannis would acquiesce to that more if that was the case. But there is that option. I'm not saying it's the right option. That can be debated, but so I'm still leaving the possibility open, even though I know I'm in the minority now.
No, but I like it. I like both you guys are just leaving it ajar, leaving it open.
With the ship.
Kind of like Blake Shelton in that Austin song. Just let it know. And just know, Austin, if this is you, I still love you. Giannis, if you still want to come back, we still love you and we're ready for you. We got Ja Morant on line 1. Let's go. Come on. Nothing screams Milwaukee like Ja Morant coming in. Let's ride.
Keep them coming. 877-794-1973. We're glad you're hanging out with us in the 5 o'clock club. It's Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armen bringing it to you on this Thursday in the good land. 877-794-1973 for you 5 o'clock clubbers to weigh in with us. Still trying to process what happened at Madison Square Garden last evening. Interestingly, you know, the prediction markets and all that and you know, indicators. Well, during the third quarter, when the Knicks were getting slaughtered, get in the door prices for Game 6 at the Garden dipped by to $7,600.
Whoa! Wow. Okay.
And then within the hour after the Knicks won, they went to $14,000 to get in the door for a possible Game 6.
My goodness, the money to be made, the possibility for it.
That is like if you're timing the market there and you bought the dip, like which they always tell you to do, and when it comes to the market, buy the dip. Get in the door prices they doubled in an hour.
Yeah, and Drew, the thing is, I've seen a lot of people trying to clap back at this, like, well, show the sales instead of just the postings. They're right. You know, it's okay. One thing to list it. What are they actually getting? I mean, people were actually buying them for $12,000 for that Game 3. I can only imagine what it's going to be there. As somebody at the Potawatomi Sportsbook that invested on Knicks in 6, that was my thought. Like, if you have the opportunity to, and you have the money to put down, the one to buy is Game 6 to then ultimately, if indeed you're in a business mindset, then you flip that son of a gun and you make a fortune off of it. If I remember correctly, I think you were the genius that pointed it out to a couple of us around Game 3 or Game 4 for the Bucks of, hey, I know this is really fun to go to Game 3 and Game 4, but especially after they won Game 3, the one to look at is Game 6, fellas. They win Game 4, you're guaranteed it's either your last chance to watch them or a chance to win a title. And if I'm not mistaken, you hit the market perfectly on that. Did you get it right before Game 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so you struck gold, because when I was in Vegas for Game 5, and going into Game 5, tickets in like the last row of that lower level at Fiserv around $800, $700 or $800. Went to bed that night after the talk about a thrilling comeback in the first half that the Bucks had in Game 5 against the Suns way back when. They jumped to $1,100.
Yeah,
and that feels like peanuts and pennies compared to what we're talking about with these tickets. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and these series are always tenuous. You know, it's funny how you can talk yourself into any tenuous moment. Like, obviously, after last night, it sure looks like the Knicks are on their way now. But if somehow the Spurs can win Game 5 at home, then is the pressure on the Knicks to win at home in Game 6 in front of that crowd that's expecting the coronation and there. And you're right, it's going to be the biggest selling game ever and all those things. It is interesting how just one little turn of events can change the way you look at the whole thing. But it's got to be like, you know, it's got to be like waking up like a kid on Christmas when you're a Knicks fan today, pinching yourself saying, did that just really happen? But yeah, I'm sure that's what the kids are thinking about though now these days, right? Is the money they can make off commodities, being a commodities trader and not just being a sports fan. That's how this world has changed us, I guess.
877-794-1973. It's just man, that's a fun thing. Now, one of the best videos I saw in the aftermath was the U.S. men's national soccer team reaction.
Oh, I missed that one.
Oh yeah. They were going crazy watching the Knicks win, man.
Instead, I saw Wemby getting an egg thrown at him as he was walking into the team hotel.
Tough.
A lot better than the scenes that we had to see after Game 3. But there was a moment there where if I'm in New York and I do have a number 1 jersey on, a San Antonio jersey, at halftime, I was walking right into the bathroom and taking that son of a gun right off.
You got to turn it out.
I'm taking that thing. I was taking that thing off right away. I'm not trying to start any problems. I don't want anybody seeing me cheering for this team. I'll just give my quiet fist bumps under. And then, an hour and a half later, I took it off for a different reason.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, what a turnabout that is. And for the ticket deal, I wonder what it is now for Game 5. Because now you have if you're a San Antonio fan, there's got to be get these things out of here.
Great point.
Like, get these out of my hands. I don't even want to think about what that's going to be. And if you're a Knicks fan, this is maybe the greatest vacation you could possibly have. You're going to have a chance for a Saturday night sweep or Saturday night series win and a championship on the Riverwalk in San Antonio.
Yeah, they want to overrun that city. New Yorkers want to make that Brooklyn South or Midtown South.
That's already a fun spot to be.
Yeah, with the whole canal and everything and the Riverwalk you mentioned on
a
canal.
Great place to hang out down there in San Antonio. And if you're going to be celebrating in enemy territory, there's not a whole lot better places to be doing it right there.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be tempting for Spurs fans because the market's going to be quite robust. You've already grown up saying, all right, I've already seen 5 of these titles. It is what it is. We're not going to win. Let me just slide these tickets onto the marketplace and see what happens. Once again, we're all commodities traders.
Let's see if I can pay for one of my kids' semesters of school.
But you know what? The real ones won't do it. If there's still real fans out there, the real ones will go down with their team, go down with the ship. There'll be good job, good effort all the way to the end. Not sure if there's any left, but that's what I think the real ones will be. Billy.
So if you had, say, paid, what would be a generous way? $1,000 face value? That's probably way more than what you would, right?
I would say, yeah.
And you could flip them things for 10 or 11 grand.
Well, Billy, if you put
Mr. Dave Ramsey, Armen Sarian over on that side of the glass,
you put those type of numbers, but I'd never be able to live it down. That's a legacy decision.
Oh, I think 5 numbers there on the bank account on the Venmo transfer might allow you to be able to get over it pretty quickly.
Maybe, but listen, then I'd be one of those for the rest of my life because then I just gave up my tickets for the NBA Finals. I mean, what are you saying? Spurs fans are giving up?
You sold them. You made a boatload on them. That is not giving up. That's winning.
There's a temptation there, that's for sure.
So Darren Ravel just posted what he said was the best video from last night.
Of course, it's his opinion, right?
Iman Shumpert walking through the crowd in his own jersey.
I saw that. Yeah, way to make it about yourself, Iman. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Iman Shumpert wearing his own jersey, walking through the crowd, towering over people. That's wild.
Let's go, Shump.
The moment all the old OG Knicks wanted to have for themselves, right?
Dude, that's hilarious. Shumpert was flexing the Cavs title ring on First Take yesterday, but this one's even way better. John Starks was on the floor last night.
Yeah.
Like he was just on the floor.
You don't see court storming in the NBA, but that came close.
that whole under the basket, Drew, all of those alum, they're just like, yeah, we're just going to make this our own personal playground here.
A lot of big unk energy.
Oh, big unk energy. Absolutely. We got a lot of that going on as well. We're glad that you 5 o'clock clubbers are with us, but now we're moving on. We're going to talk some Brewers. We'll talk some Packers. It's not just the NBA Finals, but it is fun to talk about a game like last night. No doubt, question about it. You are in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
I'm Scott Dolphin. The Brewers will be happy they don't have to see the Athletics anymore this season. The A's hit 15 home runs in their three-game series against the Crew. They come from behind last night to beat the Brewers 4-3 in Las Vegas. Gary Sanchez hit a monster 460-foot homer. Jackson Chourio also goes deep, and Brandon Sproat pitched well, giving up just 1 run in 6 innings. But the Brewers lose 4-3. Today's an off day. They play the Phillies tomorrow night at American Family Field. Packers tight end Tucker Kraft said he feels great and looks like he'll be ready to go for Game 1 of the 2026 NFL regular season. This after suffering an ACL tear midway through last season. Kraft caught 32 passes for 489 yards and 6 touchdowns for the Packers in 8 games before getting hurt. According to ESPN, the Chiefs are adding 2 years to Patrick Mahomes' deal. That gives him a value of $504.75 million. It's the first deal in league history to be valued at over $500 million. And the Knicks come from 29 down to shock the Spurs 107-106 in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. They lead 3-1. The Huddle is next. I'm Scott Dolphin from Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you. You need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with a number of cameras. Take the cameras off the field, and there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on 1. Ready, Biller for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 yes. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red, right, 18 Bob on 1. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and to try to run this play in the alley.
We're going to tackle what we got to do. All right? That's all we're going to down to. Let's go out and kick some tape. All right? Hey, yo. 1, 2, 3. Keep doing what you're doing. Sit down now and make the play. Be right all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, D-hand, C-puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid,
Oh, my God, this man's been out all night.
Armen, Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
The Huddle, Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armen bringing it to you in the afterglow of one of the greatest games in NBA Finals. It's one of the greatest games in recent sports memory, right?
Amen to that, Drew. Yes.
And a lot of of the big stage games have been less than compelling lately.
Well, especially when you look at the last two Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's kind of the yardstick, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, like that's kind of the benchmark. The national title game was good, not great in college basketball. Kind of same in college football. It was compelling. It was close late, but you definitely felt like you knew who was still taking it away. These have delivered. The Stanley Cup final and the NBA finals have delivered. And dude, you see young teams do it all the time. It's not like this is brand new. But now this makes it 4 out of 4 games, Drew. The Spurs have had a lead in the final 2 minutes of an NBA Finals game, and they've lost 3 of them sons of guns. I mean, that is a tough one to grapple with when you go into the offseason knowing we're going to have to stew on this, and we're going to get better. Guys, we're going to get better. We're all going to learn from this. And you know what? We're going to be right back here. We're going to be right back here. Oh, will you? Everybody always says you're going to be right back here. You never know until in 5 or 6 years if you're going to be back there.
Ask the Thunder, ask a lot of teams. I think also because the NBA is so hungry to make Wemby the face and the star. And because he's not quite doing it. I mean, last year was, he had a 7th game in the NBA Finals. But because, obviously, the Halliburton injury, but because those two teams, it might not have felt the same. Because, it wasn't the sexiest of stars.
There were also blowouts throughout that one, right? Like there was a couple of routes in there. I know Indiana just dominated them in Game 6, but there were some duds in there.
But this one, but this one with the chance for the NBA to make Wemby their next phase and the Knicks being on the stage, it just feels different. And wow, one for the age last night.
No doubt. Our boy El Baldo, Steve Zabin.
All right, what up, Zabin?
Former coworker. He's authored the Ale theory, the always leave early. And Billy, you were talking about the traffic, the subway, and the rush to get out. And it seemed like those fans stayed for like an hour after the game. They didn't want to leave. Like if you're that, and it's a little bit like that when the Bucks won.
Yeah,
the title. The party outside was amazing, but the party inside, like you didn't want to leave, and people wanted to hang out, maybe touch the court and grab some of that confetti, get some pictures and stuff. But he just this morning put into the exosphere. A lot of people asking me about my Ale theory after last night. Ale, which is again always leave early, is always off for championship games and series. Always.
What a cheap couching. I always make fun of him for that because
that's couching.
I'm like, you have to make all these different exceptions and references. Then you shouldn't be doing that. So I always like to make fun of him for that one. But I mean, especially if you paid all that money, there's no way I'm leaving. There's no way I'm leaving early.
Well, that's the tough thing. If you paid the secondary market, I would also, and I mean, Zabe's the number one guy in it. I'm pretty dang close now. Like maybe I've just gotten really old really, really quickly in life, but I stare down that 8th inning as a great escape. I'm glaring at that final 2 minutes, thinking, it might be a good one to watch from the concourse. We might be able to get back over there. And you want to have the exceptions. You always think that there's going to be a difference in the rule. There's somebody that left, right? Like there's somebody that left, but it happened early enough where I think there were a lot of folks in the building, Drew, that sensed something could be changing because of how tight, it was palpable how tight the Spurs got, especially into the 4th quarter. So maybe there were a few less Ailers, but I still probably would have flipped the coin.
The Ale theory also applied yesterday at Oracle Park in San Francisco, where the San Francisco Gigantes were trailing the Nationals of Washington 9-1 entering the bottom of the 8th, and ended up prevailing in the game 11-10 on a walk-off grand slam.
And just think those people left the stadium thinking, man, this is going to be the craziest comeback today.
They scored 5 in the 8th and then 5 in the 9th, capped by Bryce Eldridge's walk-off grand slam. That's a pretty good comeback, and he's the youngest player in MLB history to hit a walk-off grand slam.
He's also a strapping young lad.
Young lad, and I mean, I like the confidence because in the post-game interview, he said he wants to be the face of the franchise.
Yeah, he's like, this is my team.
I want to be the face of this franchise. Okay.
He's 6'7". You just might have a chance, brother. Like, and he was raking against the crew. But I looked at my phone. I'm like, holy cow, Nationals, good work on you. Flip that thing off to the side. And then the scroll through social media is how I saw that one. A couple of walk-offs last night and ones that thought it was over. But you are talking to somebody that watched that beautiful Christian Yelich. Was that a 3-run home run against the White Sox and the thrilling comeback that the Brewers had in Series 1? Watch that behind the cement truck coming back from American Family Field. So we've seen some, but that's a tough one to be able to top right there. 9-1 in the 8th. My goodness.
That's a true AL comeback. I mean, that is a true one because obviously, and you would have thought I didn't go right to the win probability. I think Billy would be happy to know that, to come back like this in that Giants game or in the obviously NBA Finals game last night. You think I go right to the win probability chart, Billy? I know detest that one. But you'd be proud of me, Billy. I did not actually do that. So I did not check the win probability, see what it was last night, but I think it was up around 99.2 or something like that. I can only imagine it was higher for that Giants game because coming back from that situation in a baseball game, man, incredible stuff. So sports gives it to you every day, and it does it again. The Dodgers blew a lead last night, so just crazy.
The Brewers lost last evening, so they lost the series but had a winning road trip.
That's a win. Where your pitching staff is in right now, Drew, I'm gonna categorize that as a win, especially the fashion in which you win game number 1 of this series. I mean, there's the lock of the century. It felt like on Tuesday night that somebody was going to be able to get back off the mat, and the A's were going to steal that one. I was wondering how on earth I'm going to go to bed after that comeback by the Knicks, and then I watched the 9th inning of the Brewers game. Luckily, the top of the lineup put me right to bed. Good morning, good afternoon, good night for the crew. But once again, they plated all their runs in this bandbox of a ballpark within the first 3 innings, and then it was silent throughout the rest of. And Chad Patrick looks somewhat mortal in that Little League ballpark of Las Vegas Park. But that's one where you just rip the page off, and luckily. Is it bad that immediately after the Brewers lose, the first thing I do, instead of, wondering how it happened and checking out the box score, I just go and look at the Cubs result?
Well, you do want to.
I think that's amazing.
It is true. I mean, I don't think that's what I do.
I mean, they're in 4th place in the division.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go and look what the Cardinals did. Maybe I should try to see what the Pirates did. They came back and beat Ohtani's Dodgers yesterday. No, it doesn't matter.
No.
Whatever happened to Coors.
What about the White Sox? They're mirroring the Brewers. Remember when the Brewers got boat raced in that opening series at Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
White Sox came to Milwaukee, got just pummeled.
Yep, got mollywopped.
And last night they moved into first place in the AL Central, beating the Braves.
Yeah, against the Braves last night. It got 2-1 win.
I mean, come on.
They're pretty impressive story right now around baseball, the way they've been doing it, and they're in that weaker AL Central, so they have a shot at it.
They're the story in baseball right now, right? Outside of the team that's in their own division that's going to sell the back-to-back Cy Young Award winner, right? Like it feels like the White Sox are the talk of the sport because
they're the feel-good story. The Tigers are the feel-bad story.
The two ends of the spectrum.
Right, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And it's always going to be the Yankees, Dodgers situation.
Because the Braves are the best team in ball, and nobody's talking about it.
Right?
Like they just fly by night and like, okay, sweet. We actually more care about the teams that are cheeks in that division that we thought were going to be amazing in the Phillies and Mets. But
if the White Sox continue to do this, Billy, as we get through the summer, it will be, I think, one of the more bigger baseball stories because it is kind of shocking the way they've been able to turn it around from the depths of despair that franchise seemed to be in a couple of years ago. So I'd agree with you there.
Yeah,
on that one.
You also pull one good trade and it works out, and you can flip some things around pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it's crazy how that happens.
So Brewers in need of a day off. They will fire up a weekend series at home with the Phillies in town,
and it's going to be a fun series with the Phillies in town. Ball's going to be flying out of that park, I would assume.
I would think
with some heat because both
warm
of these
and humid. I would think it would. Yeah.
And you mentioned it, Drew. They desperately needed this day off. I mean, they haven't had one all month. The last day off that they had was May 28th before the Houston series. So
grinding.
It's one of those where, like, at some point you're going to have these runs where you just have to. You give yourself the opportunity to run 5-5 in an L10 column, And to make it 6-4 with the topsy-turvy nature of what this last 10 games felt, starting with the Giants series where you just beat the brakes off of them in game 1 and then you drop the last 2 and feel kind of nasty getting onto the plane flying out west. I'll take the 4-2 road trip, especially when you're going out west any day of the week.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I'm old enough, as many are, to remember 2 and 4 West Coast road trips were a lot more common.
You'd sell and you'd
feel
be
good about it.
celebrated. You're right, to be celebrated. Right.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy to get back in a major league ballpark. I'm just gonna say it. I mean,
Yeah,
no more like, guys hitting their first homer of their career in this ballpark. Like, how many times have the A's, what was it, Akira Williams or Akira, I don't know what his name is. Guy that looked like a movie extra. I'm sorry. This guy looks like a baseball movie extra. Like one of the guys from like the bad team in a baseball movie that gets his first career home run because, from Angels in the outfield. I'll just be happy to get back in a major league ballpark where
that's a loser's lament when there's 7 runs scored in the game.
Well, I don't care, Billy. All right. It's just, I want normal things to happen again. Give me the A's again on a normal major league ballpark. I think we're going to do a lot better. There's my excuse for that. All right. So I'll be happy to get back in a regular ballpark. Although it was, I was the guy 2 days ago saying, stop complaining about how weird the series is. It's only 3 games.
I'm glad you remembered it.
I did. Don't worry. That's when we won. And
right, when you won, this is still really entertaining. I really like being able to enjoy it.
It's a memory we'll have. If the Brewers would have held on to their lead last night, it would have been like, all right, 2 out of 3. Had that weird kind of series in Vegas and in the minor league ballpark. But then it was enough to annoy me where I'm like, all right, we shouldn't have played here. So I kept that non-consistent energy for you right there. But it'll be bad. It'll be good to get back into a regular ballpark against a regular team, major league team, major league ballpark.
Yeah.
And get things going again. Although the A's they had some pretty impressive moments. They have some nice young talent, and just nobody knows about them.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And who knows if they will. So.
Yeah. 877-794-1973, NicolaLaw.com talk and text line. Now, Packers also were cavorting at minicamp, and the highlight was the pass that I saw from Jordan Love to Jaden Reed.
Ooh, that was sweet music right there, Drew.
Yeah. That was good little that wet the whistle a little bit. Like, that'll play.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things that
his body and just
twists around under center play action. Drew, I know that's one that a lot of folks are gonna be waiting for and hoping that we see a little bit more of.
Great observation.
And then also that from the on-field work got everybody excited. But man, then when Tucker Kraft stands at the locker and lets the cat out of the bag of when he's expecting to be back, you see him on the sidelines and walking around practice. He looks phenomenal. I mean, there's not many guys more physically put together right now than Tucker Kraft. But when he says, "I feel great, my quad looks great, swelling is minimal, no weird pains, Nake's coming." Well, quad, that would be more groin looks great.
I get it. I'm just saying it's funny to hear.
No weird pains or aches coming out of my treatment, my training. So really excited to get this thing rolling. We're going to take off. Talked about, I would say I'm going to get all the conditioning I need. I need to start camping. I need to start week 1 with no pitch count. So he's planning to be back week 1 with no pitch count. We'll see if the Packers ultimately allow him to do that exact same thing.
What a dog.
But as he said, Drew, he felt like he was the best tight end in football when he went down last year. I don't think there were a lot of people that were complaining or arguing outside of Trey McBride down in Arizona. And that's some of the best news that you could get, because we got the let down news, the put down news of Micah Parsons, and let's tamper the expectations as to when he'll be back last week, just to rise him right back up here at the end of minicamp with Tucker Kraft potentially busting out, being ready to go week 1 against the Vikings. That's great news to have.
Be huge.
Their offense was just so disjointed when he tapped out, and you didn't get a full chance to see him and Christian Watson together rolling on all cylinders. And they've now identified their top 4 pass catchers, if you include Matthew Golden. We didn't see all 4 of them on the field together once in 2025.
Justin in Jacksonville texting in. You guys might have talked about it already, but let's get Tucker locked up ASAP. So that was enough for Justin in Jacksonville, just to say, let's give him that deal. Boom. Let's go. I love that energy.
He's going to get a big deal.
He's going to get a deal.
He definitely will.
It's a matter of when, not if.
Yeah. And I wonder if anybody is waiting to see him get back, if anybody upstairs in Green Bay would be waiting, or if Drew, I mean, these are two-way streets. And, Luis Lara's interview yesterday with the press, it was really cool to hear him and the story as to how quickly his contract kind of came about. But it takes 2 to tango, right? And like for Tucker Kraft's side, Yes, you want to get that security. You might want to do what Christian Watson and Jaden Reed just did and grab some money right out of the gates and feel like you're set, secure, and now you can go play ball and earn some more. Or he can say, I'm going to earn some more in the first 4 games, and then let's hit that renegotiating table in the middle of the year or something. A lot of guys don't want to talk contract once the games start, Drew, but I got a feeling once he gets back on the field, that contract is going to consummate pretty quickly.
Who's the highest paid tight end in the league? Because will Tucker Kraft enter that strata? Because it seems like those guys are, compared to receivers, a little bit underpaid.
Yes, and Kittle is at 19. McBride is Kittle's at 19.1. Sorry, I apologize.
Oh, okay.
What's 100,000 amongst friends?
That's an Eagle thing.
Kittle 19.1, McBride 19. Underneath that is Travis Kelce with that Fugazi 17 million that he got in that weird deal, and then it's 16 for Hawkinson, and then falls right off. So very, very cleanly could be the first $20 million tight end.
That seems to stands to reason. And there's a couple dozen $20 million receivers, right?
Oh, at least. Yeah. I mean,
that's like the going rate for number 1 receivers, right?
There's what was the annual value for Christian Watson's was 27. And I think he ranked 15th amongst qualified wide receivers. So yeah, there's a ton of those guys.
And as the importance of tight ends continues to increase, we saw that last draft this last draft, how more guys are being taken. I think that's going to increase the value of that position.
So as you look at the tectonic plates of salaries in the NFL, running backs are making less and tight ends are elevating. Is that safe to say?
I think that's very safe to say. Yep. Yeah. And you're seeing more and more teams realizing, like Armen just said, how valuable they are. If you're making $20 million a year, that would be equivalent to your boy Jacoby Myers, who signed a 3-year, $60 million deal with Jacksonville, and Wan'Dale Robinson annual value of 17.5, or Romeo Doubs and Chris Godwin. So that's a different level if you're going for the number 1 wide tight end on that market.
Then my question would be, and good thing we have these devices to do quick research, because Statman Steve's out taking pictures of clouds and sun. But Statman Steve, we might have to change his moniker to Shutterbug Steve.
I was going to say,
because his texts now are mostly pictures, and it used to be stats. How he got the name Statman Steve?
Yeah, it might have to be MKE Photo Steve. We're gonna have to drop something on there that we see on Spectrum News.
My question is, it's to the point where tight end is a very important position. You need not just 1, but 2 productive and quality tight ends. So what's the outlay? And are we going to see teams spend $30 million just on tight ends and then allocate to receivers? Because you got to have 2. You need a Batman and a Robin, right? You got to have 2. And the Packers, they drafted Musgrave. They were hoping.
They were thinking they were getting 2.
There would be that.
And Drew, they also have to do a little bit of different things, right? Like you kind of want one to be the true pass catcher, one to be more of a blocker. You're lucky you have Tucker, who's a legit all-around guy.
He is a beast, yeah. Well,
but
Kittle too, yeah.
Yeah, right. And he's more in that realm. McBride can block a little bit, but he's much more of a pass catching guy. You need to, you need them to do different things. And the way that the defenses are playing you now is having to be able to run the ball. You need guys that are able to be an additive right there. And some guys are damn near Darnell Washington there in Pittsburgh, who's a 6th offensive lineman out there at almost 290.
I think I'm old enough to remember when the Packers were paying 10 or 12 million to Jimmy Graham to not block or catch passes. Hey now, that was a good investment.
Yeah, and that was on the heels of the Martellus Bennett investment, which was just about as good.
Yeah.
The only guy ever to have a problem with the Packers medical staff.
God, that's a good memory as well. All right, when we come back, it's halftime of the Thursday edition of the Huddle, and Scott Dolphin is going to drop in today, provided his house didn't get power knocked out and all that stuff. We'll catch up with Dolph. And we have the local news on now, and storms are rolling across. They're talking about this today.
We're thinking about you, Dodgeville.
Three bouts of it. What the hell is going on? What they do in Dodge County to deserve the constant pounding?
Always them. They always get pounded.
Elmira, Horicon, Beaver Dam.
Stay safe, everybody.
When you see warning and it says Dodge, like that one is just, it's always going to happen right there. The Fond du Lac and Dodge County. Son of a.
Yesterday was rough for a good part of the state, and today we're going to have another round of battles. So hunker in, strap up, all that stuff.
Charge up that weather radio.
Charge it up. Get those batteries ready.
Scott Dolphin will join us next. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armen huddled up on a Thursday in the good land, and we welcome Scott Dolphin.
Morning, fellas.
To the huddle. Dolph, it's like we're getting ready. The World Cup going to kick off. And in fact,
football,
the world's football begins today with Mexico and South Africa at 2:00. And the World Cup games are going to be airing on Fox Sports Radio 920 Milwaukee and Fox Sports Radio 1070 in Madison. And that includes, of course, USA Paraguay at 8 p.m. But I'm excited about the World Cup. I know it's going to be cool. There's going to be great moments, but will anything top what happened last night at Madison Square Garden?
No.
You're going to bet the under on that?
I don't know how if you're the Spurs, if you come back from this.
If the World Cup final goes down to penalty kicks, maybe.
Yeah, that's always exciting. One of the most exciting things in sports, right? But yeah, last night, oh my God. I mean, if you're San Antonio, you're just still shocked and numb this morning.
I mean, and it's such a big swing because if DeAndre Fox backs out or just dribbles around and doesn't go try to take it to the cup,
just boneheaded move by Fox.
If he does that and they hold on and win, suddenly they're going back and you're like, oh, the Knicks are going to choke this away. This is unbelievable. So at the end, like obviously there's a million moments that won't.
Sure.
Like many of the Packers games against the Bears.
Sure.
Yeah.
Packers.
Totally.
The Brandon Bostic game. There's like 11 things we can go back to. This had been different.
It's Murphy's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
The domino effect. Yeah. The butterfly effect. That whole deal.
Yeah, and that happened last night too. Fox, man. I mean, he even said afterwards, he said that was just stupid of me to do. It's kind of one of the reasons he got the boot out of Sacramento. He would do that every once in a while.
But he thought he had a clear lane to the basket, right? Like,
yeah,
I understand,
but
if you think you do, you take the layup, and that's always
even then.
Not really. There's 10 seconds to go.
The ball is everything.
The ball is everything in that time.
But
it's a race to get to zeros more than a race to get to a 3-point lead.
I agree, but I'm just saying it's happened a lot in those situations in basketball where you're going to get fouled. So a lot of times to avoid the free throws, people do take the basket, even though we always say take the foul.
Well, that's the kind of play,
made
though.
A bad judgment.
That's the kind of play I see up and down through the NCAA tournament, and it pisses me off. And it makes me say, how can these guys who play more games now than ever before, AAU, summer, these guys play, and they play an NBA season when they're 13, 14, 15. They play more than an NBA season.
Spot on, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're playing tell me these guys are playing less than 100 games, a year. And they still don't have the awareness, the situational awareness, and the basketball IQ to negotiate moments like that.
Well, I still think a lot of them are afraid of the free throws, and they'd rather take the layup if they can. I don't think it's as like it's not a bonehead necessarily as it always being boneheaded as much as
but also
the reaction.
Yeah, but it's also something that you might be able to discuss in a timeout.
That's a good point, Billy.
Might be able to discuss it in a timeout, Mitch Johnson. What's up over there on that side? I was glad at least at the 4.5 minute mark that he was awake over on the sideline as a 17-4 run was happening against his team.
He hates calling him.
And when you're what 7 or 8 possessions in a row are missed threes, or what?
They shot 8 consecutive threes. Right. Fellas, watch y'all get in here real quick. All right, lunch detention for every single one of you if I see anybody shoot another triple.
How about a paint touch?
Yeah, maybe. What would the old coach say at Falls, Drew? Why don't you step on in and get yourself a better look?
Yeah.
Take a couple of steps in, get yourself a better look. I don't know, maybe a 15-footer might work.
And they missed some free throws too, to your point, Armen. But Johnson, his dad is a Milwaukee legend, right?
Yeah.
John Johnson.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there when Wemby steps up with a minute and 40 seconds left or whatever for those free throws.
It's huge.
And Dolphin, you could see he does that super cool deep breath where the shoulders go like all the way up to the chin and then drop down. He couldn't even get the shoulders up because his arms were shaking on that second one. They zoomed in on him and he left it short right away. And I mean, it happens. Like the young team will be affected even more by it, but the basketball IQ, the intelligence, all this kind of stuff can be aided in that moment. You mentioned it though with the Kings. You want one more kick in the nads, the Kings fans. We talk about that 2018 draft. In that 2018 draft, the Sacramento Kings had the second pick. Jalen Brunson was taken in that draft. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was taken in that draft.
Wow.
This cat named Luka Doncic was taken one pick after they took the second pick in that draft. And they ended up with Marvin Bagley.
Oh,
who last I think was bagging groceries. Like I don't know. I don't know what my man Marvin Bagley's doing right now. He's probably super successful overseas. Sure as hell ain't in Sacramento though. I think that one was as short-lived of an experience as you possibly could have.
We saw some growth with that team a couple years ago when they made some nice trades, and then all of a sudden now it's just it's looking bleak.
They had to watch their
Mavericks. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
He's
sweet.
still
There you go,
getting a check.
Marvin Bagley. Let's go. Come on, congratulations.
He was. We'll see if he can.
They also have their former head coach. When you mentioned the nice little run they had, the second seed, he's now the coach of the Knicks.
How about
Mike
that?
Brown. And De'Aaron Fox playing in the finals there. There's also this other kid that they drafted. I can't remember his name. Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah,
He was pretty decent playing in the finals last year. Kings, you talk about 90% of being a sports fan is getting kicked in the nads. 99.9% of being a Kings fan must be getting kicked in the nads with those numbers.
Yeah, and you're in Sacramento, which other than the capital of the state of California, it's not exactly a juggernaut of a sports town. Although they do have the A's. I guess actually that's West Sacramento, but they do have the A's playing there this summer.
They got a little taste. Yeah, that's true. And probably nice weather up there, right?
It's hot. It's one of those
it's not
places
probably
it's really hot all the time because you're in the agricultural part of California. But you're on the way to Tahoe and Reno, which is nice.
Well, I'm always gonna be.
Well, it's like central, so you get some of that crop produce. They
a
grow
lot
some
of
stuff.
a lot of. In fact, I haven't been to the Kings new arena, but when I lived out there, we'd occasionally go to the old Arco arena. And Armen, that was in the middle of nothing but farm fields.
Well, it's a big pear growing region, from what I read.
Did Sacramento give Milwaukee vibes, like the city that's sort of a major city but also a small town, or is it smaller?
We're cooler. Come on.
I think it's probably similar size, but I'm with Armen. We had much more of a cooler vibe, at least when I was out there. You know what I found to have real Milwaukee vibes, other than the fact that it's got mountains and an ocean? Vancouver. We got to spend some time up there.
Vancouver's the most beautiful city.
Really nice.
And I think it's the most beautiful city in North America.
Really, it's awesome.
I've been to.
It's awesome.
Wow.
But when you go through neighborhoods, you could have said, you're on the east side of Milwaukee right now, and I would have believed you.
Yeah. But then, then you get in the mountains and the water, and
Right.
it's like, holy cow.
Oh,
I don't think we're getting Winter Olympics anytime soon.
This does look beautiful.
Vancouver, it's incredible. And you go to like the Whistler and all that, and like that.
Yeah, Victoria.
Yeah.
At ballet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Vancouver cooler than Sacramento, and it's not close. Is that what we've come up with here in the last?
But I was talking to somebody last night, and somebody was talking about Pittsburgh came up, and I'm like, well, Pittsburgh and Milwaukee and Cleveland are very similar,
sure.
vibes. Like blue collar, the
Rust
accents
Belt.
are different, Rust Belty.
Yeah.
But Pittsburgh and Cleveland a little bit faster pace and East Coast more, but then we're a little bit more laid back.
Sure.
But very similar vibes, like someone's gonna hand you a beer, and
Yeah, those cities are bigger, obviously. Now, we spent 4 days in Cleveland last July. We hiked and we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I did not dig it as much as I thought I would, to be honest
Really?
with you. Yeah, the
I had good
downtown
times there.
was okay. It was kind of dead.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot happening, but
Well,
we had a good time. And
There,
the
there are
Guardians
nights
were
when
in town.
downtown Milwaukee, you go driving, you're gonna throw a bowling ball
I was
down
going to say
Wisconsin
here, see a
Avenue.
tumbleweed roll out there for a while.
Yeah.
Point. Yeah.
But there's something to the nostalgia of both of those ones. You mentioned it, Drew. There's at least a little bit more East Coast probably in Pittsburgh, but just like in Milwaukee, it's either going to be a Miller Lite that somebody's handing you, or a PBR. They're handing you an IC or an IC Light. there
Icy Light, yeah.
in Pittsburgh, and hanging out and having some time.
Schaefer.
And then probably just
Probably Yingling, too, right? That's
Yuengling.
a Pennsylvania
and
beer.
then being frustrated about the traffic, right? Like it does feel like a spot where you can get right back
Yeah.
into your roots pretty quickly.
The guys who travel, at least in the major leagues, they refer to Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, Cleveland as like sleeper towns. Like you go in there, and if you go in on a weekend in the summer, you'll find it'll be bumping.
A little
right?
something to do, yeah.
But like on a Tuesday night, you can find people that'll get after it, and the people
Sure.
who are out on service industry people and people who go out Monday, Tuesday, they get after it and they have a good time.
They have
so
a
they're
good
like, those
time.
are sleeper cities. Like, okay, yeah, everybody can go out and have fun in Miami and New York and LA.
And
but,
here,
but here it's
on
like
a weeknight,
you can find it.
you go to a card store in West Dallas. That's what we heard what the Padres were doing, right, a couple weeks ago.
I
There was,
love that.
There was
Really, I don't think I.
Well,
must have
there was a
missed that.
story on the Miz
Mhm.
Oh,
showing
sure,
up at the
Pokemon.
cards and saying
Oh,
hello to a kid, and it went on social media. And the owner said at that time that some of I think it was the Padres. Were they in a few weeks back?
Yeah, they were in a few weeks
Yeah,
ago.
he said
Yep,
a couple
you're
of the Padres had stopped in as well.
Mm-hmm.
Times have changed, yeah.
Well, listen, everyone's in for the commodities
I know,
here,
they're
Armen.
into it. They used
We
to go
got to
to
see if we can
clubs.
get
Now they're
what
going to
kind of
card
Pokemon
shops.
slates they got in here to
bet.
buy up.
Yeah, it's massive. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. What was your Billy? What were you more Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh?
I
What?
was more Yu-Gi-Oh.
Were you?
I was a bigger fan of the Yu-Gi-Oh show. Yugi was a weapon. When
I
he
know.
had that sweet deck that he had on his arm, I begged my parents to get me that one for a long
Yeah.
time.
Look at Drew.
But
Right.
if I still was able to access the shoe boxes full of those cards that I had, granted they'd be all destroyed and muddled up and bent through because I was definitely playing the game. Everybody totally knew how to play the game. I would just wonder if I had any gems in there.
I'm sure you
those
did.
things were just
Everybody
loaded
thinks
up.
that they threw away their Beanie Baby collection that would have paid for their mortgage.
Oh yeah.
No.
And,
My dad
but the
always
tough
talks
thing
about
is
the
I got
Mickey
two.
Mantle
My
tops,
kid just crumbled up these 2 cards. I'm like, buddy, what are these things? Oh, why am I seeing these Jacob Mizorowski rookie cards that you had here for the first time?
Yikes.
Bent like it's a paper football. You
goes
never
your
know what could be in
Please
that
put them
spot.
in the spokes of our bikes. Come on.
My dad always
That's true.
We flip for him. That's my dad. I would have had all the 57 tops Yankees if I didn't. Okay, here we go again.
It was and when I met Tim Dillard's dad, and I told him, like, hey, I'm sure he's heard this a million times, but I used to get your baseball card in every pack, and he goes, really? And I said, yeah, you and Biff Pocoroba. And he laughed. He goes, I know Biff. That's funny. And I'm like, literally, I got packs like another Steve Dillard and another Biff Pocoroba.
One of the best names in baseball history, Biff Pocoroba.
It was a great one.
That's amazing.
Those were the cards of our youth. But yeah, I'm like, Dolphin, these kids, like, Armen, was it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for you? You missed that wave or what?
No.
Because that was that's more of a millennial type thing.
Ninja Turtles was definitely
that's
big,
more his era.
But I mean, I
That's
collected,
what I thought,
collected a lot of cards. I collected, but it was sports cards. I
Well,
didn't collect
yeah,
cartoons.
Of course, you didn't. But not cartoon cards.
Cards. I collected baseball cards and basketball cards and football cards.
You still have some?
Yeah, I do have a couple boxes somewhere, and a couple of years I had the top set and I arranged them by team, and I just can't bring myself to part with them. So maybe my kids will be interested. I doubt it. Dobie told me that's your only chance because none of the 90 tops are worth. I have like all the 90s top sets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I asked Dobie at Maxwell, I'm like, well, what are they going to be worth? Because he's the expert. He's like, they're worth firewood, Armen. Just keep them for your kids and keep them for your memories.
No, anything pre-89 is the one that really starts going, and everything post 2005 or so on the cards definitely has a lot more value because there were just so many there in the 90s.
Based on scarcity, yeah. If everyone had them, then they're not going to be worth anything. Even if it's the best player, Ken Griffey rookie.
They are crazy valuable.
Honus
right now.
Wagner rookie.
Well, I don't have that. If I had that, now if I had a something like that, then I'd be selling it. All right, Billy, not my finals tickets, but then I'd be.
Then you'd be selling.
Was it Gretzky or somebody that had the Honus Wagner?
I don't know. They're faking those a lot too, aren't they?
Didn't Charlie Sheen have one?
Maybe that was it. I don't
He
know.
had one. He had some rare cards too.
It's just a trophy for rich people. Oh, I got a Honus Wagner T100, whatever they call it. T120.
Oh, yeah.
That came with the cigarette pack.
Sure, it was. It was a tobacco card. That's right. Yeah.
tobacco
Way
card.
before tops.
Well, and back in our era, you didn't want the cards on the outside of the pack, and there was the gum residue that would hit, like the stickiness of the gum.
Whatever that preservative powder they would put in that gum would survive the nuclear meltdown.
No
Still can chew that stuff if all of a sudden you open one of them packs from the 80s.
But it goes in cycles, though, Armen. There might be a point where 90s cards are back because everybody threw theirs away.
That's why everybody wants to keep them, just in case.
Just in case. And, who's to say? And it went through waves like once COVID hit and everyone was organizing their cards out of boardom, it's like then the market started to pop.
Yeah.
It was like, that was wild.
I don't think you can make a living on it, but
big time can. I mean, like you're looking.
Some guys do.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at this is a different spot. Like, I mean, some of the most famous or popular videos right now online are guys just breaking packs and breaking boxes, and they're buying and selling for $300. You get the A's in this box. So every A that comes through here, as I rip through 12 or 14 packs, you get all those. Or maybe you get lucky and you get an autograph or you get a jersey card. Otherwise, you're finding up with a bunch of Lawrence Butler's ones.
When I leave my pick and save in Bayview after a week of grocery shopping, there's a massive Pokemon machine right in the vestibule as you go out, and there's always somebody there feeding money into that
So
thing.
your point, Billy, though, it is more about the influence. That's how you make people make a living. It's about the influencer. They become influencers. Right?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, like the guys that are selling at card shops and card shows, they're not influencers necessarily. Those guys just have bundles and they're selling them off for $1K, $3K. I mean, there's ridiculously big money in there that is rolling through here. It's no longer just, my Aunt Gertha gave me a box of tops to rip through here.
Right.
It's a full business.
Just kicking myself when I hear this. That and all my old vintage vinyl back in the day when I was a kid. I wish I would have hung out.
Coming back.
Music is so collectible too.
It's coming back. When I was last weekend, I went to a whole bar that only did vinyl.
Right.
Yeah, it was a high listening bar.
Armen's listening lounge.
So
cool. That means we'll get more of those here now, because I remember like years ago going to Kansas City and there were these cigar bars and I saw these like hot girls smoking cigars and hanging out. And like 5 years later, we got one. Like, we're 5 years behind Kansas City.
That's not good.
What are we doing? So, did the Pokemon card machine replace the Redbox DVD rental?
Pretty much did.
Kiosk.
Yeah,
It's right there next to the lottery ticket
Those
machines.
are gone. Yeah, those
Redbox
red
was
boxes are
huge
gone
for a while. That was huge
those
for
are
a
gone.
second.
Redbox was huge.
For a hot second, that was huge.
You'd see them outside Walgreens a lot.
Big time.
And maybe you still do, right next to the payphone. But Redbox came in.
Next to the payphone.
Redbox was right around the same time. Remember Netflix? I remember we had a sales guy here came in one day. He says, "Have you heard about this Netflix? You get like 3 movies, and then when you're done, you just mail them back, and then they mail you 3 more." Netflix is kind of advanced.
They just finally ended that program because my mom was one of the.
Did they still have it?
Well, I thought they ended it or something. My mom was
They
doing
did,
it.
yeah. I think they were still.
My mom was doing that right to the end. She was still sending back DVDs like 2 or 3 years ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that it lasted this long.
Well, during COVID, that might have been nice for some people that didn't want to stream.
Yeah,
and just something interesting to get in the mail. I don't know. It's one of those things that hit at the right time and then would flame out, obviously, because of technology. So
Did that speak to our laziness? Was that a sign? Because people, instead of driving to Blockbuster, they would rather just sit on their ass at
So
home and
much
have it
better,
delivered.
yes.
And like, rather than going to Taco Bell, I'll hit Uber Eats.
Uber Eats has replaced that. I was just
Or
gonna say,
rather than
DoorDash.
going to the mall, just have somebody drop 3 packages on your porch.
All right, when do we think that Netflix officially ended their iconic DVD by mail service?
I thought it was a long time ago, but apparently not.
I'll say 2023.
Wow, you got the month too?
Nah.
September 29th of
Let's go.
2023, they officially ended with the company sending out their final batch of famous red envelopes and completely shut down operation of that after 25 years of mailing movies.
And people have short-term memories. They forget that was what we thought of. When we thought of Netflix, we thought, oh, yeah, that's the mail-in service. Just like Amazon was all books. There's still a video of Bezos on YouTube floating around where he's standing in New York City wearing a bow tie, and he said, here's my idea. Books are the future. We're going to do books. We're going to do a lot of books, and it's going to be about mailing books right to and he just goes on and on and on about this. It was just books. That's what
And
Amazon
Blockbuster
was.
had the right to buy it, right? And they turned it down. Oh, good. How one thing changes history. We talk about it in sports and in situations like this.
That is nuts.
Pretty good. Hey, Dolph, thank you for popping in.
Thanks,
Appreciate
fellas.
it
You're the
for
man.
the halftime report. We'll move forward. We might talk to Hunter Baumgart, but he doesn't have power, so he might not be able to do it.
Might be tough. Might be dicey.
tough.
Yeah,
Yes,
get on the phone. We
Might
got him.
be tough. We'll find out. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Huddled up on a Thursday, Drew, Billy, and Armen bringing it to you. We don't know if Hunter's going to be able to join us live, but he did send us a report last evening before he lost power. Let's go to that right now, brought to us by friends at Import Minded.
Thanks, guys. A tough one last night for the Milwaukee Brewers, falling 4-3 in the series finale. They had a 3-1 lead heading to the 7th inning, but unfortunately Chad Patrick gave up 3 runs in 3 batters. Just unlike him, he's been dynamite out of the bullpen as of late, but unfortunately that was not the case last night, and the Brewers fall 4-3. They couldn't muster a comeback. Brandon Sproat, though, his best start since April. He completed 6 innings for the first time since mid-April and allowed just 1 run, so that was a great step in the right direction for Sproat. But otherwise, unfortunately, other than the Gary Sanchez and Jackson Churio home runs early, Brewers offense couldn't come through with runners in scoring position. So the Brewers lose just their 2nd series in their last 13, which is a really good mark, so we don't want to get too disappointed. However, you never like losing a series. But we leave the Vegas series behind, and we now move to this weekend, which starting tomorrow night, it'll be the Phillies in town in Milwaukee. Jacob Mizorowski will get the mound coming up tomorrow night, 6:40 first pitch. Shane Drowan will get the start on Saturday, and then on Sunday in the series finale, it'll be Kyle Harrison. I'll have you for Milwaukee baseball tonight, coming up at 6 o'clock this evening on Fox Sports 920 and our social media channels. Talking all about the A series and looking ahead to the series against the Phillies this weekend. We'll also talk a little bit about the Luis Lara contract as well, coming up tonight at 6. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Hunter. Hunter's
There we go,
reports
Hunter.
brought to us by Import Minded, your go-to experts on 27th Street, just north of 894.
So when I was driving up on Monday too, listening to you guys before going to the Children's Wisconsin event, did I hear Hunter right that the Dodger series was the only series they had lost since the Pittsburgh series?
Yes.
That was the NFL draft.
Unbelievable.
Like, it just
right?
that's just put that again in context. That was the NFL draft weekend when the Pittsburgh Pirates came here and took 2 of 3. So it's an insane run they're on. It's just, there's going to be months in a baseball season, Drew, right, where you got to go 500.
Yeah.
Where you just got to go 500. And I know that that's a tough thing to do, especially when you rattle off 20 out of 27 games. There's going to be a moment where you're going to come back down to earth a tick. And if this is your coming back down to earth, sounds okay. Like,
you'll take it.
You'll take it and figure it out going 6-5 or 6-4 in a 10-game span. It's hard to be that consistently good and to be that good with a pitching staff that, again, the back end of the rotation right now, you got a great start from Sproat last night. Much better than I think a lot of folks were anticipating you were going to see from Brandon Sproat.
He's the bright spot. Yeah.
But you're battling so many injuries in that back end of the rotation. You take it right now. This is why you build yourself that nice little cushion of 15 games over 500 that you can get Vegas a couple of times.
That's where it comes into play. And then that lets you celebrate when the Cubs lose 2 in a row to the Rockies.
Dude, and it's hard to sweep a series. We just talked about that last week with the Giants. But come on, Colorado. Why not just put the salt in the wound?
One time.
And one more loss for the Cubs, and they'd be under 500. Team with 2 10-game winning streaks and a 10-game losing streak, and they could be under 500 by Armen's favorite day and line of demarcation, Flag Day?
Flag Day.
My goodness.
Flags,
3 more
Armen.
days.
Armen Sarian. All right. We're going to be back to close up shop for the 6 o'clock hour, and we're going to be back with a vengeance. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
I'm Scott Dolphin. The Brewers will be happy they don't have to see the Athletics anymore this season. The A's hit 15 home runs in their three-game series against the Crew. They come from behind last night to beat the Brewers 4-3 in Las Vegas. Gary Sanchez hit a monster 460-foot homer. Jackson Chourio also goes deep, and Brandon Sproat pitched well, giving up just 1 run in 6 innings, but the Brewers lose 4-3. Today's an off day. They play the Phillies tomorrow night at American Family Field. Packers tight end Tucker Kraft said he feels great and looks like he'll be ready to go for Game 1 of the 2026 NFL regular season. This after suffering an ACL tear midway through last season. Kraft caught 32 passes for 489 yards and 6 touchdowns for the Packers in 8 games before getting hurt. According to ESPN, the Chiefs are adding 2 years to Patrick Mahomes' deal. That gives him a value of $504.75 million. It's the first deal in league history to be valued at over $500 million. And the Knicks come from 29 down to shock the Spurs 107-106 in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. They lead 3-1. The Huddle is next. I'm Scott Dolphin from Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with a number of cameras. Take the cameras off the field, and there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on 1. Ready, Biller for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 yes. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red, right, 18 Bob on 1. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We know exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all we got to do. Let's go out and kick some tape. All right? 1, 2, 3. Keep doing what you're doing.
get them. Sit our guys after and make the play. B right, all the way outside. Y left, fake 396 bag. B hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmidt,
Oh my God. This man's been out all night.
Armen Sarian.
Zip. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Huddled up on a Thursday, Drew, Billy, and Armen coming at you from headquarters, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison, everywhere in the iHeartRadio app, streaming live, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Recapping a Brewers loss, a Knicks victory for the ages, little Packers mini camp, some highlights from that as well. Some news from the news out of that, other than the 70-yard strike from Jordan Love,
which was beautiful
to
see.
Jaden Reed, and Tucker Kraft's revelation that he expects to be ready for Week 1.
Beautiful news. Great sound.
There's a certain recently drafted offensive lineman who's making news.
Yeah, Jagger Burton is quickly ascending himself right into the eyes. And man, Aaron Nagler came on our draft show that day. What was it, Armen? 15 picks before Burton goes.
I want to say about that.
And I said, all right, I know you've ran through the crushes. You got Brandon Cisse already here. I really wanted to deny Dennis Sutton. They grabbed him in the 4th. Next, you have one last one. It was Jagger Burton, and quickly he's impressing enough to Drew where so many folks just thought, all right, well, Anthony Belton for sure is your right guard. Jagger Burton said, hold my Jaeger bomb because I might have myself a chance to get in there and change some thoughts. Corey Linsley did it a couple of years ago and stepped in and started right away. You play in the SEC, I think you're going to be ready to roll. And there's something to Matt LaFleur always says, Drew, we hear it every single time when we play all the press conferences, and people love hearing Matt LaFleur's press conferences after games when we do it on Packers OT, versus we're trying to get the best 5 out there.
Yeah.
He's going to make it tough for you to not say he's going to be one of the 5 best from what it sounds like.
The path is there.
Yeah.
There's a pathway.
But I do have to temper the expectation and calm it down. We are in underwear. We when we're holding pads and they're holding a pad to then hit, that's a tough one. But they know stuff.
I was going to say they can kind of tell.
They can forecast. Well, they took him for a reason, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. It's open. It's there's a path. There's an opening. Like let's just say there's an opportunity.
I think there's multiple too, Drew, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, as much as Sean Ryan was really good when they moved him over to center last year, I don't know that 3 years and $33 million locks you and solidifies you into anything. In all reality, like that's a average starting offensive lineman contract. I think he's going to be the center for sure, but Burton's got a lot of experience there. He's got a lot of experience at both guard spots. And I mean, then you have another security blanket. If indeed Aaron Banks finds a way to pull both groins like he did last year, then you don't have to worry and try to go through that experiment necessarily.
And there's something about the excitement of, at least for me as a fan, the excitement of like the hope that you might have found a diamond in the rough, a gem in the later rounds, especially at those positions. There's an excitement level to it because it's like we might have got a special player here late. You feel like it's found money. You feel like it's buried treasure. When Bakhtiari started to really emerge and you're like, oh my goodness, we might have something special here in the 4th round, or when Tausch did it later on, or Corey Linsley in those offensive line spots, when there's an idea that you might have found a special, diamond in the rough later on, there's a level of excitement there as a fan, at least. And now you're starting to feel it with him, with the way people are talking about him. And that's what it really comes down to, because most of us don't know how to analyze offensive linemen. Billy, you might, but I don't. So it's like, I rely on other people to say he's great. And then I'll be like, all right, great. This is exciting,
Well, and at this point too, Armen, I appreciate you giving me that kind of hat tip. That's very nice of you. There's also they also know what they're looking for, right? Yeah. Like they know what they want. They know what they're trying to get out of all of these things. And you can, that's where I've always struggled. And I appreciate the hard work that these guys do on, the Pro Football Focuses of the world. But when you're grading offensive linemen, there's so many intricacies of the game plan and thoughts and scouting as to, you don't necessarily know at all what you're seeing is to be believed. And this is exactly what they're supposed to do. So it's difficult to forecast, but he's going to have a chance. And I was very excited about Jacob Monk a couple of years ago. And then last training camp, calm that excitement down a little bit. And then the Minnesota game ramped right back up. So they got some guys in there in the pipeline that get opportunities. And Drew, the door's also open because it was one of the worst offensive lines they've had in
That's true.
the better part of 2 decades, probably in Green Bay.
Armen's right, though. You get the opportunity like Lindsley did when J.C. Treader got hurt.
Yeah.
And then
Saturday
Bulaga walked in and started. And
was it Bulaga's ACL that gave Bakhtiari the spot, right?
And what it was. Bulaga walked into a starting job, even though everybody said his arms were too short.
Mm-hmm.
And they won a Super Bowl.
Figured it out pretty quickly.
And then, Bakhtiari took over and slid in when Bulaga got hurt, I think.
And Bakhtiari just got one of the greatest hat tips that you could in the NFL when Myles Garrett was on a podcast.
That was pretty cool.
Who's the one offensive lineman that you had problems with? Man, I cannot get around Dave Bakhtiari. That dude, that was a problem.
That dude locked me up.
Bakhtiari getting himself a little bit of kudos there. Is he still trying to buy that dairy farm?
I think so. He wants to open a creamery or to make yogurt or something like that. That was a big slow roll because when he first put out on Twitter, does anyone know anyone with the dairy farm? Like everybody and their mom was like, everybody, their son and their dad and their brother was like tagging everybody they knew. Of course, there's hundreds of dudes that have dairy farms here. And then he's like, yeah, is it for sale? Oh, you're just trying to buy a dairy farm and make your own yogurt and creamery. That was sort of a weird thing, but I think he's still trying to do it, or maybe he's got a deal already in place.
Could be. Billy, who's hot and who's not? It's brought to us by Donovan Jorgensen. We got to fire this up.
We got to. And who's going to be not in this category is going to be Victor Wembanyama. Kevin O'Connor just hit this one that Underdog put together. Victor Wembanyama's fourth quarter last night, because if you just look at the stat sheet and you look at the box score, Drew, well, I mean, 24 and 13 is hard to say that it's not. Here's Victor Wembanyama in the fourth quarter. Missed alley-oop layup, missed tip shot, made free throw, missed floater, missed top tip shot, made 2-point shot, missed alley-oop layup, missed jump shot, made jump shot, missed free throw. Those last two come at 147, and you could see the fear in his eyes. You could see how caught off guard he was and how rattled he was when he stepped up to the line inside of the final 2 minutes. The Knicks had just retaken or gotten themselves their first lead. Spurs went back and took it, and he had a chance to get an and one, make it right back to a 4-point game. Instead, misses the layup, misses both free throws, left the last one short, and it was brutal. Julian Champagnie, the New York native, also going to find himself in the not category. On a night where the Spurs, Drew, in the first half hit a record amount of threes, Julian Champagnie didn't really help. 1 of 7 from downtown and just 5 points for Champagnie yesterday in the Spurs starting lineup. But Dylan Harper, hot. I don't know that there's somebody that's made himself more of a name in these playoffs. Harper had 3 triples in that first half, finished with 21. They're showing the pass that just gets deflected by a fingernail on Karl Anthony Towns. He was the inbounder on the last play. But Dylan Harper's got a lot of fans after this series.
I'm glad you brought that up because of all that happened with the tip in and all those things. They could have scored on that play. It was open if he didn't tip that ball on the way in. That play was open.
Got just enough of it.
Good point, man. I mean, it's just what a game. And OG, I mean, you got to give him a little credit for
OG
that.
Anunoby was massive. Yeah, no doubt. 33 of them.
You can put OG and Brunson in the hot category and the Spurs in the not hot category. Donovan Jorgensen, by the way, the installs, maintenance specials, service repair specials. Visit DonovanJorgensen.com. Employee owned for the last 40 years.
The place to go.
Place.
One last not category, though. People are calling it out. Peter Herbstreit. Kirk Herbstreit was courtside last night.
Yep.
And we have now found the one place that Peter is not allowed. Courtside at MSG for Game 4 of the NBA Finals.
Someone posted a picture, though, with Peter photoshopped in.
That's funny.
That's pretty funny.
I looked over. I'm like, wait a second. Is that Herbie? Wait, is he drinking a vodka Red Bull over there?
How about that?
He was having himself a good old time. Looked like he was imbibing a little bit. That's a good time to have fun.
He works for the network, right? Kirk, obviously.
He works for ESPN, yeah.
He works for the network. He works for the company. And he's in like one of the most exclusive seats there's ever going to be, courtside at MSG for this game. Does he have to pay for that, or does he have some sort of deal? Because even I heard Seinfeld couldn't pay for those tickets.
Well, Larry David had courtside.
Larry had courtside, but then there was a story that Jerry wasn't able to get courtside, or they wouldn't let him, so he had to buy him from a couple rows back. This isn't like a Jerry Seinfeld thing. I know you're looking at me, Billy. Like,
no, well, I was just going to say Stiller dropped it yesterday with Barkley and the boys on Inside the NBA because Barkley mentioned it. He goes, man, I got to ask, how much money do you spend a year on these season tickets? Like, I goes, Chuck, they give him them.
Yeah.
He's like that. I get these tickets. I was like, I don't know why, I don't know how, but they just give them to me because I've been going all the time. So they just give me the tickets.
So I get that. Like they want celebrity fans, like you just said, but this is still New York, and they can make so much money.
But Spike had said that he spent like $10 million over 30 years on these tickets.
Yeah. So there's some of it. I think more in the regulars, but Spike is at every game.
He's a real fan. I mean,
he's at every game. Like even Stiller, I think he's float in and out. He's going to be at some, but
Adam Sandler was there. All those guys were there.
So the Spurs are not hot like right now but in their 3 losses, they've puked on their shoes in all 3 games down the stretch.
Every single one of them, Drew.
So again, will there be a regression? The market will correct. If there's a 50-50 game, they're due to win a close game. Like they're due to get a break. They got some breaks in the game they won.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Some calls or some non-calls. But then, so doesn't it seem like it's Knicks and 6? Like, doesn't it seem like, I know the pressure's on the Spurs, but in some ways, 3-1, it's like, people are writing us off. They think we're going to lose. So there's like this liberating, let's just go out and play.
Just like there was in game 2 or 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, we're at home. Let's just go out and play. And they've dominated a majority. It's almost like the Packers against the Bears last year. They dominated most of the games.
Yep.
And then puked away the end. There's something tells me that, and then if it goes to game 6, there'll be the whole thing about if the Knicks don't clinch at home, then the pressure's switches
all
over
into the cooker.
Right.
Yep.
So then it becomes an epic series. But I'm not counting the Spurs out just yet, even as devastating as it was. I'm not getting the Cleveland vibes that I got. When Cleveland lost game 1, it was like, oh, they can turn the page and recover. Nah, I thought they were done. Because they were just coming off the 7 games with the Pistons and stuff. But now with the Spurs, I'm like, if they win at home, they'll come back to the Garden and like they won there before. Let's,
Well, in very much so. Like the Garden last night felt like, come on. Hey, come on. Let's go. Everyone giving a little Dr. Dave Margolis, right? Trying to pump up the crowd. Game 3, they walked in there ready for a coronation.
Yeah.
So if you win game 5, if you're San Antonio, you walk into that exact same situation in game 6.
Yeah. Good point, Billy.
But if you have a half like the first, sure, people are going to call back to game 4 and we're not out of this thing. But in the bowels of everyone's mind, they're going to say, wait, we got to go back there now for game 7. Like you can very quickly creep back in with the doubt. Potawatomi Sportsbook, I believe the Spurs were plus 380 going into game 3, down 2-0 to win the series. Drew, if you still think there's a little bit of a shot in the dark, they're plus 400 right now.
And you know
what?
what?
The Potawatomi Sportsbook to win this thing.
And you know what? A little bit of the job's not finished energy from the Kobe energy from a lot of the Knicks players for a good reason, I think, because as much as last night's result was crazy and iconic and historic and feels like the death blow for the Spurs, now the back of your mind, if you're a Knicks player, coach, fan, you don't want this also to be like the second to last chapter of the worst story ever if you end up blowing the series. Like, I know that's how some sky is falling sports fans think. So because of that, I think if you're the Knicks, you got to get this done in 5 because you don't want to bring it back to that pressure cooker of having to do it in front of your home crowd. Yes, ideally the home win would be best, right? There would be nothing like winning the title, I'm sure, in the Garden, but you let that thing get to game 7 on the road, then the entire thing changes, and then it's Spurs are a heavy favorite. So I think in a weird way, the Knicks should put pressure on themselves to try and win it in game 5 so they don't let this thing linger and give any seed of hope to the Spurs. Because remember, before they started collapsing, they were outplaying the Knicks in every facet last night.
Every facet.
It was just kind of crazy. And then you said, oh, you know what? This is how it was supposed to work for the Spurs. Like, this makes sense. This young athletic group that's putting Brunson in jail and making – and, Castle's got his hands all over Brunson, and Wemby's doing his thing, and they're hitting threes. This is how it was supposed to work. They were outplaying it until, obviously, the collapse happened, and OG stepped up big. So that will be interesting now come game 5 is how both teams approach this thing. And how the San Antonio Spurs crowd, I think. Is it going to be a lot of Knicks fans? Is it a nervous Spurs fan group? Is it like you know what? Hey, we got nothing to lose. Let's just celebrate our team, and therefore they're more positive. I'm going to be very interested to see that.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact mood is going to be.
Yeah. You would assume a lot of Knicks fans will be paying to go down there, right?
Dude, it's gonna be MSG South. I mean, it's gonna be.
Will Taylor Swift make the trip?
Nah, it's not New York. What's she gonna do in San Antonio?
I'll go to the Riverwalk.
Hang on the Riverwalk.
Yeah. Maybe she wants to go remember the Alamo.
That's one place she doesn't have a house.
Armen, you're acting like she's got to go there and like spend 3 days.
No, you're right. She can fly in, but she's not like it's not like she's a Knicks fan in terms of I follow that team everywhere, or it's not like she's
But it's an
following
event.
Travis.
Yeah.
It is sort of, it's not the MSG. I get what you're saying. It's possible. I don't
No,
know.
you're right. It's not the world's most famous arena. However, she's arguably the world's most famous person.
She can do it.
Decide
yeah.
wherever
I
she wants to
mean,
go.
Yeah, she could fly that plane in there.
She could fly to San Antonio and attend that game in less time than Billy and I are on the road going to a Packer game and doing the post-game show and come back. So.
You're damn right, Drew. You're damn right.
Yeah. Her plane is a Dassault Falcon F7X. It's crazy. I mean, it can fly anywhere.
You aviation
Well, I'm just
nerd.
saying. I'm just saying. If you ever tried tracking it,
If you've ever tried tracking it.
Well, we did with the Packers thing. Her tail sign. Remember all that
No,
stuff?
don't say we.
Not we.
Don't say we.
Yeah, we.
You used that word way too liberally over there. We were tracking it.
It was
no,
cool.
you sicko. You were the one tracking it.
It was cool. The Chiefs were playing here, and everyone had to know if Taylor was coming. Hey, Armen. Hey, what is she doing? Hey, okay, now you want to know. No, you're right.
And then-
She could go to Tokyo for lunch if she wanted to and come
And
back.
then it was Spencer who got the video of her doing the walk-in.
Spencer was the one.
That's still one of the
Well,
best videos that we've
millions
ever
of
had, dude.
It's one of the great moments in Spencer's.
What a
that and the
classic.
flannel day.
I really do struggle though, Drew, to think the Spurs are like 1,000% out of it, and you're in the way you said it, because again, they've had a lead in the last 2 minutes of each of these
The
games.
losses, yeah. It's like,
And-
it puked it away.
And there's due for a blowout here. I thought it was coming last night. I thought it was going to be the Spurs. Somebody's due for a blowout here, and this would be the time where, like San Antonio did in Game 6 against OKC, like you saw Indiana do a number of times last year as well. Right when you think somebody's done, you can't fake that kind of desperation that San Antonio will have coming up in Game 5.
San Antonio, if you think San Antonio's out of the series, then how did the Knicks come back and win? Because they were out of that game.
Right.
You know
Good
what I'm
point.
saying? So it's
Nothing's
that's
over.
not.
Yeah.
It's the NBA, man. And that just goes to show you. And for people who, when the guys are trying and the games matter like this, even like if this was a regular season game, people would say, what a joke. You know,
this
doesn't matter
of
till the
course
fourth
that
quarter.
happened.
Doesn't matter till the fourth quarter. Why even watch till the fourth quarter? Well, you saw it because it's pretty good theater.
Yeah, and 20-some million people did. It is a tough
Wu-Tang, with the blessing.
Mega Man was there. Yeah.
There's really some tough nights for the NBA is floundering crowd, right? Like for the
go broke.
For the folks that are wondering when the NBA is going to crater and if that hog is finally getting to get slaughtered, not with this kind of series, not with this kind of stuff, because it has delivered every single time. The playoffs have been exactly what you thought it would be.
And might I say, and as an old guy, I can say this, but people who are giving me the old guy rant of all those guys do is flop. That's the new version of they travel on every play and they never call it.
I'm glad you said
right.
it.
It's a low hanging fruit comment. Let's be honest. It's okay. It's for a narrative.
All they do is flop.
All they do is flop and
they
shoot
travel
threes.
on every play and they don't call it. Okay.
I just and
but it is true because someone posted like finals from like the 80s or something of what was called the travel back then.
Oh, the game has changed.
It's unbelievable.
The game has changed. The same with the foul calls. I get it. I mean, SGA does do that.
There was a carry called during the playoffs, and I actually thought they ripped that one out of the rule book. I thought, as Wayne Larrabee always jokes, I've been calling NFL games for 40 plus years. They've never taken rules out.
Oh yeah,
they add 2 or 3 every year.
But the game has changed. They also had illegal defense and no zone. So the game has changed. I mean, it's just in every facet.
Yeah.
So Alex Bykowski on the YouTube comments. If the Spurs have been able to, in the last 4 minutes of the third, keep the lead in the low 20s, the crowd would have been knocked out. They wouldn't have felt heat from the long-suffering crowd. That's true. There was
very true. Alex,
they got a lot of hope. The seeds were planted of hope in the end of that third quarter, and I felt like that was probably the beginning of the whole thing.
I also don't like to give him a whole lot of credit. Who was actually pretty good last night was mark the tape. Draymond Green. He had mentioned it on the post game. He's like, he thought, and he's probably right on it. One of the more important ones was the stretch to close out the first half. Like, I mean, it was as ugly as it possibly could be, and San Antonio was on the verge of being up by 35, and at least the Knicks were able to keep it somewhat manageable and keep it within somewhat of a striking distance and close out with a 3 and calm it down a tick. But you just needed to keep the crowd somewhat in it. Again, when Taylor's doing the happy dance on the 3 that cut it to 22.
Sure, I get that.
I mean, like that's one of those times where they just desperately wanted to get into the game, and the Spurs gave them a reason to. Armen, your win probability was at 99%.
Crazy.
For 5 different times.
Yeah.
And with the final 6 minutes, the last time it was at 99%, it was a 15-point lead with 8:07 to go. And the Knicks have done better than that already this year.
Your statagami of the night.
Let's ride.
Statman Steve, pay attention. The Spurs are the only team in NBA history to have 76 or more points in the first half and 30 or fewer points in the second half. And that has never happened in the regular season or the playoffs.
In any game?
Any game.
Oh, my God.
This is wild. I mean.
So that's like, it's a unicorn.
And how sick am I? How deranged and disturbed am I?
Uh-oh.
That last night after, Christian Yelich, Jackson Churio, and Bryce Duran go down, I'm trying to think of how I'm going to fall asleep. Why did I turn on Spurs postgame? Why did I do that?
That's just a total Bill move.
How evil is that? But
It's
I had to hear the meltdown. I had to hear it with my own 2 ears to know exactly what that pain was like. Because I know how I felt, Drew, and I know how close I was to making Armen hit that dump button a couple of times on the 21-3 loss in the wild card round this year on Packers OT.
What I remember about that is the worst thing about if you really care your team losing a game like that is then you got to go and do a show about it. It's the worst. It's got to be the worst feeling. And I'm assuming these dudes in San Antonio care about
these
their team.
dudes were hurt.
It's just absolutely.
And I just could
feeling.
not stop laughing at them.
Well, sure, of course.
So
now,
mean.
I get it if it's a rival like the Vikings. I always listen to them. Obviously, on K-Fan or the Bears. But the Spurs, I mean, come on, Billy. That's diabolical on you.
It was evil, dude. It was cruel. It was cruel and unusual punishment that I was going through.
For
with
San
them.
Antonio. I mean, they've already had to go through it with Charles.
They got them big old women down there, and now they got a bunch of L's.
Big old women. This portion of the Huddle has been brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. Check them out online, GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Find a clinic near you. Sign up for a free, no obligation consult and see if they can change your life as they've done for thousands. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. All right, when we come back, we will have our current electric superhero of the day. More conversation. Before you know it, we're waking and baking and sliding on down back to the dinosaur and getting out of here.
Crazy how quickly it happens. It's a great one, Drew.
It's a Brewers off day today, so we're kind of left to our own devices.
Start of the World Cup?
Maybe Billy's going to drive north and help them fix the Culver's thank you barn.
Man,
that was
no
sad to
kidding.
see.
Dude.
Aid in the relief effort. We'll see what we got going on. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. 10-day warning. Father's Day is approaching. Get dad something he can use.
Come on.
No, he doesn't need a tie and doesn't need a coffee mug.
No, you don't need another dad coffee mug.
No.
My dad coffee mug that said, thanks for not shooting blanks. That's definitely my favorite one that I have for the Father's Day gifts. But yeah, I got 900 of these things. I don't need another one.
You know what? I could use one actually. I put a chip in this Milwaukee PC mug.
Oh, there you go.
But you were making a point. I think it's still a good one, so I don't want to hijack it.
You need
But do it.
you need some Iron Jock bundles. Paulie Hanson's got some bundles deals available at ironjoc.com. Check him out. Like get that a polo and a hat to wear to the course.
This is Iron Jock week too. I mean, like the sweaty,
Big Iron Jock week.
the
Yeah, no
humidity,
doubt.
the humidity. You're outside, you're sweating, but you want to stay cool, but you have to have a layer on. This is just so perfect. For
And
this
it's easy and you can get it shipped really quickly. And the bundles are, fantastic. So check out the Father's Day bundles at ironjoc.com. Performance polo cap.
Pops is going to be happy.
And a cap for the golf course.
Yep.
Amazing. They got that going. You can get a workout shirt and socks in a bundle, or you can get the lightweight hoodie and joggers, which is a whole outfit for dad, and he's not going to look any cooler. So make dad look cool. Go to ironjoc.com and then hook him up with some Admirals with the Admirals tickets and cap package.
Amen.
The hat trick. You get a voucher for 2 tickets to any game and an Admirals hat of your choice. So go check that out, MilwaukeeAdmirals.com. Iron Jock Admirals. It goes
Boom.
together.
Done deal. Like that's all the shopping help that you need.
That's it.
The tough thing is, Drew, as well. You have the opportunity with the Iron Jock bundle, the lightweight hoodie and the joggers, to when the youngster looks at you and says, "Dad, stop embarrassing me." Well, you have a chance to help Dad out.
Look cool.
Make him
Help him
look
out.
cool, and he won't embarrass you every single day because he'd be rocking Iron Jock and look cooler than any other dad hanging out. The hat is a huge one. I'm glad you said it for the golf course, because if you're sweating like a sieve like I am, the worst thing you can do is take a hat onto the course that you know is going to just get stained and sweated through.
Right.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden that Iron Jack hat, shake that thing
You
out,
need that.
throw it right
Good
back
to
on
go.
the next day. It's perfect.
And yeah, absolutely good to go. We were talking to somebody about the Yankees teams back when the Yankees were a dynasty, and they had this closer, John Wetland,
Of course.
who had the salt stained hat.
It
It
was
was
just
like they
drip.
never washed it,
Drip.
and it was like his trademark. And the clubbies they were barred from washing it. It was like, you got to look up this salt stain. It was quite unique. It was his signature.
That is awesome.
I think that was when they started putting the World Series patches on the hats.
That
Or
was-
they had new hats for the World Series.
They did have the patch.
So they had to put a patch
'Cause
on his old one. Is what
at the
it was.
time, my boss Gary Howard, who grew up in the Bronx, he that was my most important assignment of the year. Was I had to get him a hat when I landed in New York. I had to get him a World Series hat fitted with the logo.
Yes,
and I had to FedEx it to him, so he had it to wear for Game 1.
Oh, so don't even bring it back when you get here. No.
He had to have it for Game 1. And I had to FedEx it to him, and I'm traipsing around Manhattan going to all the Models and stuff. And like, I'm like, I didn't know if they had them at the stadium, but they had them. But it's like, but that was my assignment. And sometimes that took me longer than writing the story for the day.
That's true. Well, because some of those game stories probably damn near wrote themselves. At the end of
Traipsing
it.
around Manhattan trying to find a hat for my boss. Because he had to have the fitted, he had to have it, and he had to have it by Game 1.
Well, I like the fact that he said, you know what? I got boots on the ground. I'm taking full advantage of it. You're going to this game and you're getting
He's paying for me and Hardecourt to be there. It had to be a little something.
You know what's funny is like, you go back and during as times past, you say to yourself, well, these days you don't need to have someone get it for you. You could just order online, but not with Fanatics. You wouldn't get it until next season.
You get it spring training.
People are just getting their USA jerseys.
Yeah, their WBC
They're
jerseys
just
now.
getting their WBC jerseys now. Thanks, Michael Rubin. Thanks, Fanatics.
Yeah, they stink.
Clowns.
Yeah,
You could have had one, sent it back to China, got another one back from AliExpress, and all of that time.
Who's our superhero of the day presented by Kern Electric, Billy?
Well, this is a tough one because you mentioned it, Drew, in the last break, or going into the last break. The iconic blue Culver's barn in Beaver Dam was severely damaged with the storms on Wednesday. Michael Zimmerman, who owned the barn since 1976, said it's been the Culver's barn for more than a decade. The big blue barn that said, "Thank you, farmers." We've seen off 151. The heroes are the folks that kept everyone safe, and luckily, I don't think we've heard of any injuries and everything that had happened from the storms yesterday. But shout out Culver's for doing this across the country. They did it not only in Wisconsin, there near Dodgeville. There was also 2 others: Greenfield, Indiana, in Argenta, Illinois. There's also one in Mineral Point as well. But it was part of the Thank You Farmers project in 2013, way to express thanks to our area farmers, in part launching the series of hand-painted blue barns across the Midwest. Today's superheroes of the day are the farmers.
All right.
Let's go,
Today are the farmers, because today's a tough day, right? For a lot of folks in the Dodgeville area, in Beaver Dam, Dodge County. You guys got hammered yesterday. Sadly, it's probably not going to get a whole lot better here today. Meteorologists going to keep us safe, but you guys keep us well fed, stocked up, and are the lifeblood of America. So thank you, farmers. I don't have a Busch Latte corn can to crack here in celebration, but a tip of the cap, because we love you all there. And Current Electric is keeping them safe as well, but we love you guys.
Yeah, well said, Billy. And it's tough for them because they need rain. Rain's very important to farmers.
Rain is a good thing. I've heard it once or twice.
But they don't want destructive like storm rain. You know what I mean? That's
what we wanted was a good soaking.
Yes. Regular, get me wet, soak. You know, yeah.
Yeah, just and not the Utah soaking. We just wanted something to be able to get in and drench and get the crops rolling, because there was a lot of brown going on in those fields.
Yeah, and we gotta get the corn knee high by 4th of July. That's what my dad always would say. Knee high by 4th of July.
As Dobie would say, knee high by the 4th of July, a farmer's corn and a bachelor's laundry.
Dobie always has the funniest jokes.
He's got a gajillion of them. I saw Dobie last night. Shout out to Dobie. He's front of mind now.
Oh, really?
That's great. He's a legend, yeah.
One of my absolute favorite things is when all of a sudden I get a text from Dobie Maxwell, and there's like 5 or 6 different recipients in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then I know that it's just one of the GIF unloads that he fires in.
Because I
don't laugh harder than whenever those texts come in.
Because I can't scroll up all the way enough because they keep coming in. There's like 93 memes. And I'm like, this is going to be a great 15 minutes.
Cartoon panels that he has and stuff.
And he also he's well timed with it, Drew.
Always, yeah.
Because thinking of exactly what happened last night to the Knicks fans or to Spurs fans, I'm pretty sure Dobie hit one right after we got off of Packers OT when the Packers lost to the Bears in the wild card round, and that was one of those moments. He knew we were at a low point. Knew we needed somebody. Knew we needed a superhero, like the superheroes from Current Electric. They got all your electrical needs. Hey, if your power's out this week, a lot of people without power, We Energies is battling to get you all back in there. You don't even have to worry about it if you have a Current Electric standby generator. So check them out, callcurrent.com. That's callcurrent.com.
Absolutely. Superheroes. The Knicks, they're fans. They're loving themselves right now.
This is their moment. Yeah.
Saturday night. Did you see like Chalamet post game? Like he's boogieing down out of the seating area. Oh my goodness.
Nobody wanted to leave. I mean, like the picture of Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David hanging out after the game. Like everybody was there. And a big shout out to Inside the NBA. Because I mean, like I was skeptical, and they were off the air for a lot of the regular season. But Drew, to have them on location after these finals games, before and after the finals games,
I agree.
Like it's so cool with them on the court. They had Stiller walk by pregame. They had McEnroe walk by pregame. Like it is that show has been the best in sports television and the gold standard for a long time. But for them to get the push of the 4-letter network and just the access here at the final, that's been pretty cool for basketball fans.
It's pretty sweet. I got to agree. That was and
it's great to have them. They're the voice of NBA post and pre.
I know people are predisposed to like root against New York. Rooting for the Yankees or rooting for the Knicks is like rooting for US Steel. Yeah. But damn, like there's juice there, and it's just more. It's more exciting. It's like there's just more. It's vibrant, and for this team, especially when they haven't won since 1973, that's ridiculous.
Well, look, and if you want American Star to be good and win, and there's a lot out there that connect more with the American stars, and we haven't had as many of those. All of a sudden, Jalen Brunson's burst on the scene as that guy. You know, to say in this era that it's been, is
he going to slide into Steph's role as the guy
if he continue? He might
who inspires because he's 6'2", doesn't look that athletic. He looks like a pretty normal specimen.
It's 1,000% true. He's going to be this next era of the little man. Right now, Steph Curry's 6'3". He walks into any room. He's the biggest guy in the room. Jalen Brunson at 6'2" is going to be a little underassuming, but yeah, he's going to be the calling card for that group.
Those guys, and those guys are inspiring. And Wemby is like Giannis, like they're freaks, right? But to use the music analogy, as I often do, because I'm always thinking about music, especially after last night. I got some music news coming for you guys.
People are going to love this one too. I apologize for the tip.
But when it comes to like there's the classic, the Beatles and the Stones, right? And the Beatles hit first and the Stones came like 6 to 8 months later. And Steve Van Zandt, Springsteen's guy, and the guy who does Teach Rock and puts music into curriculum to get kids, excited about learning and history and culture and music. He said, like, the Beatles were great, and the night after the Beatles appeared on Ed Sullivan, there were no bands the day before, and then the next day there were bands in every garage practicing, right? But the Beatles, he's like, the Beatles were unattainable. You couldn't have those harmonies and those orchestrated. You couldn't have the composition. Like, you couldn't do what they did. Like, so the Beatles showed you the new world, and the Stones came, and it's like, oh, we can be like that.
We could do that.
We could do that.
Sure.
That we can do. Because they were a little looser, sloppier, and more dangerous with their clothes and everything. It was like, oh, yeah, that. So he's like, the Beatles showed you the world. The Stones invited you in. Like, nobody, you can't grow up. I want to grow up and be Wemby.
Good luck.
Unless you're 7'3" or 7'4", you got no chance. But you watch guys like Curry and Jalen Brunson, you're like, I can do that.
I could do that.
And
yes.
Shout out Tyler Kolek, who gives people hope too. I'm sure he's a very popular guy, probably getting a lot of requests to attend, bar mitzvahs and stuff in New York and just go hang out and be,
there's always
New York, but
there's a lot of them. And like, I think of when I was a kid, it was in the finals and Armen, I know it was the finals that the Bucks could have been in. But like, why so many people were AI fans compared to the Lakers group? Like, you knew that Lakers team was far better, but anybody could go in the backyard and try to act like they were going to be able to hit a crossover like AI. Nobody could dream of being 7 foot and 360 pounds and shoving people around like Shaq.
I maintain as one of my bizarre sports theories that two of the most kind of transformational athletes of our time have been Spud Webb and Steph Curry. Because when Spud Webb won the dunk contest stuff, it made every jabroni think, well, if he can dunk, let's try dunk. And then you had guys under 6 feet trying to dunk, working at it, and
5'7",
trying to reach that. And he opened that door for people who never even thought they could walk through that door. And then Steph Curry made every kid think I can shoot from 35 feet.
1,000%.
And it's changed
ruined AAU basketball forever.
Yeah.
So it changed perceptions because, like I said, you can't will yourself to be 7 feet, but you can work on your jump, or you can work on your jumping ability or your jump shot, and that makes it seem attainable.
And then all of a sudden that Con Knipple comes around where all he does in the backyard is or in the basement, emulate with his 5 brothers of, I'm just going to shoot. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to shoot. Oh, wait, now all of a sudden I grew to 6'7".
Yeah.
Sweet. That'll play.
Work.
Now I can be one of those guys. Would you say Steph is in this era 1,000% the most impactful player?
Yep.
He'd be on like the Mount Rushmore of most impactful players across all sports.
Yeah, I think so.
Like from game changing,
from changing the game. Yeah.
Nobody's doing something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, 877-794-1973. It's already time to close up shop.
How does this happen?
Back, our happyplacehemp.com wake and bake story is coming at you. Still time to get us your thoughts on anything we've been talking about today. 877-794-1973 to the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. You are in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Oh, baby. Excitement. We're basking in the glow of a great NBA Finals game last night. Well, not great if you're a Spurs fan, but great for everybody else.
It was great listening, though, to their post game.
Not so great Brewers results late night. A lot of people went to bed thinking that the Brewers were going to win and that the Knicks were going to lose, and woke up and said, "What?"
Man, Janie and Appleton's waking up in the Northwoods. She goes, "I really hate these West Coast games. I went to bed thinking the Brewers would win. Woke up, they lost." Goodness
Same thing with
gracious.
the Knicks and the Spurs.
Come on.
The World Cup, though, will be taking place in more amenable hours, and it starts today. Mexico, South Africa at 2:00 today. Friday night, USA against Paraguay at 8 p.m. All the World Cup games will air on both Fox Sports 920 in Milwaukee and Fox Sports 1070 in Madison. We got a triple header for you on Saturday of games and a quadruple header on Sunday.
And
it's going to be pretty good.
And just from the art of broadcasting, soccer radio broadcasting, dude, that is those are some incredibly ridiculously talented guys.
I love watching the Premier League for that.
Mm-hmm.
The announcers are so great. They're
so good,
pacing
dude.
and the
It's
language. And
excellent. It
the way
really
they paint the picture, it's phenomenal.
And if you want to talk about excitement in a place, in a fan base and excitement, I mean, the World Cup's going to have it there as well.
It's another level.
Yeah.
No question. All right. So time for our Wake and Bake story brought to us by our pals at happyplacehemp.com. Part of our daily lifestyle around here. Could be yours as well. Use the code Huddle for 25% off everything you purchase at happyplacehemp.com. And being the nice guys they are, Rob and Chris, throw in free shipping with the code
best.
Huddle, which is awesome because they ship really quickly. And, those drift seltzers, they weigh a little bit. You get the 4-pack or maybe a couple 4-packs.
I was going to say, you get a couple of them things, you're getting a deal right there.
Fantastic. So check them out at happyplacehemp.com. Use the code Huddle. Billy, what's our Wake and Bake story?
Let me hit this one because my brain just doesn't work this way. However, Darren Ravel's does. Maybe Josh Hart going to have some thoughts and some second guessing and some second thoughts after he reads this Darren Ravel tweet, because he's definitely following Darren Ravel, right, Armen?
Yeah, you got to think that's the first thing he's doing after last night's game.
Josh Hart secured the game ball last night, walked off with it into the locker room at MSG. Darren Ravel quickly points out, this ball is worth $1 million.
He sets the market, or what? Is that how that works?
If the ball is authenticated by the Knicks or the NBA immediately, the ball immediately goes to a reputable auction site. The ball is established for a buyer with content and record. This is where infrastructure is needed to ensure everyone wins.
Like, he's not wrong, but what kind of dorky, he's got the ball, Josh Hart's coming in, we got to get the sticker on.
This was his second attempt at this tweet, because I read the first one and I wish I would have screenshotted it before he took it down.
People ripping him probably,
where
right?
He immediately said, well, Josh Hart really messed up by not having the authenticator put the sticker on. Once you leave the court, Drew, it's really just up to Josh Hart's interpretation and statement. You got to believe that he walked off and that's the real game ball that you get. My brain can't work that way. I wish I could have that kind of sense, or actually, you know what? No. I'm going to leave it to the Darren Ravels of the world to let that frequent your mind after watching that game, as my man just lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on that ball value.
Isn't it funny that Darren Ravel thinks that Josh Hart's world revolves around what his does? That's what he cares about. And that, one of the most iconic wins moments, he's like, well, I better secure the value of this ball. I don't think he cares about that.
I remember when the Cubs won, Anthony Rizzo put the ball from the last out in his back pocket.
In his back pocket.
But then declined offers to sell it for $2 million.
No, you don't need the money.
And gave it to the owner.
Yeah, they want
the Cubs. The Ricketts family has it, and it's in the Cubs archives, and will be, forever in the Cubs' possession.
This also goes back to anybody wondering, Jack Hughes still does not have the game-winning goal puck from the U.S. game gold medal win against Canada. That is in the Hockey Hall of Fame, and it is in Canada. Just display that bad boy forever and just make the Canadians walk by there. And remember that bad boy ended up in the back of the net with a half-toothed Jack Hughes putting it through.
Yeah, that was part of the story after that. I remember that. It was a little controversial.
Also rude last night. The Photoshops, guys, AI in Photoshop is just way too good nowadays.
Oh my gosh,
absolutely it is.
The amount of Spurs gear that I saw on John Harbaugh and Matt LaFleur, I didn't like. I didn't appreciate that.
Come on, guys.
I didn't appreciate that photoshopping John Harbaugh in a San Antonio Spurs jacket and hat. And then once it happened to Matt LaFleur, then I had to go to bed. That was time for me to put the phone down and go to bed. I can't read anymore.
Hey, are the Spurs doing that color stripe, color puke, fluorescent thing, you think, for game 5 or not? Is it their last hurrah? They're going to not do that?
They're wearing black because they're going to a funeral.
There you go. Giddy up.
Everyone stay safe today in these storms.
Well played. Stay safe in the storms. Be ready to hang out with us Friday. We'll kick it off at 5 a.m. We'll talk to Wags, perhaps. Scheduled to appear, Paul Wagner.
Scheduled to appear, Paul Wagner. Yes, sir.
And maybe even Hunter Baumgart.
We'll get Hunter tomorrow, he said. Yeah.
Hunter Baumgart will join us tomorrow as we preview Miz against the Phillies to open a series and a homestand for your Milwaukee Brewers. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll see you at 5 a.m.
Peace.